Yeah, if you heard last week's one on mine, it was like it did sound like a gunshot resounding across the walls. It was hilarious.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
I've been talking to other people who do podcasts, and they said like they do like the similar kind of thing where it's like to sync up.
I mean, that's the best way to do it.
But they said sometimes they like switch it up a bit. Like one of the guys is what's the word? He's Muslim, so they just shout like Indian Muslim prayers, just scream it all together.
That's horrible.
I was like, that's brilliant.
I was about to imitate one, but we're recording right now, so I don't want to be racist. The podcast hasn't started yet, unless I make it start.
Oh no!
I could just start right back here. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have the power.
You know what? I may. This is the podcast. This is Unidentified Podcast episode 10, and apparently this is the bi-weekly episode of the Nathan and Randy show, or Randy and Nathan show, whatever I decide to call it, because I keep switching back and forth. Yeah, like it's apparently this is an every other week thing at this point.
Yeah,
because it's just Randy Fluharty here and Nathan Hughes over there.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
we know busy people.
It happens. We're busy. Like that's the thing, is that this is all out of our free time, and with us being at separate parts of the globe, it's tough sometimes. So hopefully we'll get
we'll keep trucking
people
on.
back. But the show must go on. If I have to sit here with a no, I'm not going to do that. But if I have to sit here and just talk into the microphone for an hour,
I kind of want to see it happen just to see what you come up with.
Whatever. It'd be all right. I mean, I do it for like wrestling stuff. So
yeah, it'd be interesting to see me talk for an hour or so.
You could do it.
Oh, could I?
Just load up something, talk about it. Just here, this is what happened. Don't be the guy.
I'll just get angry.
Don't be the guy that does the harsh cut, like every YouTube person ever. It drives me freaking nuts when there's harsh cuts.
Yeah. On the left-hand side of the
I'm
screen.
talking about cut
right
this.
So if you guys heard cut about this cut, then oh god, please stop.
Know what you're gonna say before you say it, people.
Bit of rehearsal doesn't kill anyone. To say.
The thing is, though, is that the worst case scenario, they stumble a little bit. That bothers me far less than the cuts. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If they were to say or stutter slightly, that wouldn't bother me.
Okay, so I watched this guy on YouTube. I'm sure you probably heard of him. It's this channel called The Needle Drop. So he does. I
have not heard of it.
Okay, so he does these music reviews, and they're really good music reviews because he's really passionate about music and reviewing it. And I have a cold, by the way, so if I sound very sultry in my tones,
yeah, we're both kind of. I got a little. Oh yeah, right there.
I said to him before, I hoped he would do this in the podcast and just charm your pants off with that snorting and snot.
It's just a little. It's that season. It's the season of death,
snuffling, and
death season,
snotting. Anyways, so this guy's music channel, Needle Drop. He it's very well rehearsed and like he does the script and everything, but every so often he does this effect where it's kind of like, what's the word? It kind of like
no idea.
Thanks, very very helpful. So like it's kind of like a glitchy effect. So like if he's talking and then he says a word, like I'll just do it now for example. He says this word, it goes like that, it kind of shakes, and then he cuts to the next bit. It's just like this really weird effect that's in his videos every so often.
Does it work?
Is it
good?
It makes you it kind of just distracts you. Whoa, what was that? Like, right, do you know when you're here, well, okay, you probably haven't heard, but when it's like a shitty pop song, and then the lyrics play, and then the whatever, the bass or whatever goes down, so they're like singing like la 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 lo, it goes down like that.
I kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's really distracting, and it just it bothers me to no end. And like I love this guy's video, but that just small part really takes it away from me. So yeah, I agree. I like my video or information or YouTube videos, whatever. I like it very standard, and I hate like effects and cuts and just no, please don't. That's why I love your channel, Randy. It's so simple.
Oh yeah, it is. It is the least amount of effort anyone could put into anything ever. And that's not true. There's a little bit of effort, but I mean, I don't try to fancy it up because I think that's, like you said, it's distracting. Like if people, I want me to come through. I don't want the video effects to come through.
Yeah.
There's actually a joke I did a long time ago where I'm like this. I was clearly reading from a script. I had a piece of, well, I wasn't actually, but it looked like I was reading from a script. I had a piece of paper in front of me, and I was reading real slow. I'm like, this is unscripted and unedited. And when I said unedited, I did like a star wipe. Yeah, but I don't think that video actually came through.
No.
So, but maybe I'll do that again since that video doesn't exist. Granted, now that I said it, and these people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, now he talked about it. Now it's not funny."
Yeah, you need to come up with something else besides Star Wipe. I mean, as much as I love Star Wipes, you got to do something else. Maybe a radial blur, something like that. Just blur it out or fade to black or something. Come on.
Yeah.
Star Wipes are so 90s. Come on.
Yeah, but I love the 90s. I'm a child of the 90s. Well, sort of. I was born in the 80s, but...
Yeah, that opens up a can of worms there when you're like, oh, I was born in the 90s. Like, when were you born? 94. So you were kind of a baby for most of the 90s.
I mean, I was born in 89, so I was prime. I was ready. I was ready to go for the 90s. Prep. I'm like...
Prep for Beanie Babies and Teddy Bears.
And I have a stupid, ridiculously dumb memory that I thought was normal. I'm like... I was in class the other day, and they were talking about, what's your earliest memory? And people were saying like 4 and 5. I'm like, oh, really? And they're like, why? What's yours? I'm like, I remember bits and pieces of my first birthday. I'm like, you're nuts. What? Like, no, I remember the cake that I had, and I remember there was this clown there that had a kind of like fake sledgehammer that you'd hit. That I'm not even joking. There was a sledgehammer thing that they would hit people in the face with, and it would go like, ha, and there would be a clown nose on top of you. Instant, like just somehow. I didn't get it. I was a kid, so I was like, well, I was a 1-year-old, so
that's nuts.
I didn't understand the logistics of it, but I was freaking out. I'm like, stop hitting my family in the face.
To be fair, it is a man with paint on his face.
It's a girl.
Oh, a girl. Okay. Well, girls with paint on their face, swinging a sledgehammer. So you have every right to be upset.
Well, yeah, and especially at one.
Yeah, you're one, so yeah, you get a break.
Yeah, and I had a monster truck cake.
Ah, sweet.
But and I remember where it was, but that's to the extent of it. But still, that's pretty good. That's my first birthday.
Yeah, you win, I guess.
I don't remember anything else between my first birthday and like being 2. I remember being 2 quite a bit because that's when I started playing video games. As stupid as that sounds. Yeah.
I was playing games since I was 6 months old. It's like, when people say like, oh, I was dancing since I was in the womb, like those ridiculous things where people,
they're lying.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
you can't dance. Come on.
I'm not saying I was like some kind of gaming god when I was 2 years old, but there was a controller in my hands at 2 years old. So
see, that's the weird thing when people say, like you said, what's your earliest memory? I have memories when I was younger, but I can never remember what age I was. So I just say, oh, it was that because, I don't know. I
mean, you remember events. You don't remember years. I mean, nowadays we could be like, oh, I was 18 when this happened or whatever. But you don't think childhood blends together because it's all super fast and there's not a lot to it. Because, I mean, when you think about it, when you're an adult, adulthood spans a really long period, especially compared to childhood, which is only... I mean, legally 18 years. So
yeah, I remember seeing this somewhere or maybe reading it. I'm not sure if it was 100% true, but it's this kind of thing where so people are like, why does childhood feel like it sped by so quick versus adulthood, which seems
like
to last forever?
Scientific thing.
So apparently, your brain has this habit of skipping out things and like kind of if it's seen it before, it skips it. It's how GIFs where like something's moving really fast, it looks like it's moving faster because your brain has already seen it before, so it just speeds it up. Apparently this affects us in our own lives. So when you're younger, you're going through all these new changes. You're going to new schools. You're growing up. You probably moved house. Maybe you're going through so many big changes in like 18 years. But after that, things start to slow down because you've got your own job. You're in college. It starts to slow down a bit because it's...
Well, okay. The thing is, though, is that it seems like it slows down, but at the same time, it feels like you're passing through time faster, if that makes sense. Like, the changes through childhood are rapid pace, whereas in adulthood, it feels like it's longer because less is changing quickly.
Exactly.
But really, if a day as an adult lasts... is not nearly as long as it did when I was a kid, like if I were to say something's a year away, I'm like, oh, that's not that long from now. When I was 6, if something was a year away, I'm like, that is an eternity.
Yeah. That's forever. I have to wait a whole year for Christmas. What?
It's because there's a scientific formula out there. I'm not sure how much I buy it, but the relation, like a year in the life of a 6-year-old is a much, much higher percentage of that kid's life than a year to a 20-plus-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Like that's, so in relation, it just feels like it's longer.
Yeah. Because like when
it's not.
When you hit 20, like I'd say that's maybe it depends. I don't know. Like everyone's different. That could be like a good third of your life gone, but the next 2/3 or whatever can seem really slow. But like you said, it's the way when you were younger, everything just feels like it's moving faster, even though it's not. Everything's the same because time doesn't speed up or slow down. We just think it does.
Do you remember how long summer vacation felt? It felt like, for me, when I was a kid, I'd be like, okay, it is unlimited time. I could play any game I want. I could do whatever I want. It's never running out. And then by the time school comes around, you're kind of jonesing for school again because it feels like it's so long.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, it's not long enough.
No.
I want more.
Well, my breaks are ridiculously long, so it's about even. Where like before I would get a couple months, now I get even longer because of college. I finish up earlier and start later, so it's about even.
you think about that as a kid though, like summer vacation's only about 2 months long, but it just feels like forever.
Yeah,
it just feels like so long. And then you think about how summer vacation in relation to Christmas is like, oh, that's just, you can't even think about Christmas because it's so far away. Now people are pestering me about Christmas, like, oh, what are we doing for Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
For God's sake, it was just my birthday, which is in July. It was just, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Like, no, Randy, it's November. Like, no, it can't be.
You're just struggling hold on to the older months. No, it's still these months.
Randy, it's snowing. No, it's not.
You still have pumpkins and everything. It's like, what are you on about? It's Halloween's next week. Stop it.
Well, it's also getting stupid, increasingly ridiculous, at least in the U.S. I don't know how it is in Ireland, where they're playing Christmas music in freaking October.
Oh, yeah, no.
Get out of it. Just die.
Like,
I hate you all.
The second Halloween was over, I've seen, like, a few of my friends work in, like, supermarkets and stuff. They had to take out the Christmas stuff. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way.
It's unreal. Like, there are two holidays, two reasonably large holidays in between. Just come on now.
Yeah, every year it starts earlier. The whole.
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have Thanksgiving, right?
No.
So, but in America, like, there's at least another, there's still Thanksgiving there. And just, it's annoying. And not to mention, I hate Christmas music. It just annoys me. So, yeah. But I like Christmas, so I don't know.
Yeah. You don't even have one good Christmas song? Not even one.
I like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing.
Oh yeah. What was it? Oh, the
I don't remember what it's called.
The one that goes like ding dong.
Yeah.
Ding, yeah, that one, which is really. I said it before. It's a really scary Christmas song.
Yeah, but it's cool. But it's also sweet. A cover of like a. Man, I'm gonna sound stupid, but like Beethoven or something. I don't know. It's Beethoven, but it's some classical song. And classical music is cool when it can be, like it's I barely count that as a Christmas song. But the holly jolly just freaking no, just leave it. I can't stand it. It annoys me, and it partly is because you can't escape it once December rolls around, especially December, but November even. Yeah,
you are kind of stuck.
You're like don't even turn on the radio. You might as well not because. That's all you're gonna hear.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Every time Christmas music comes on, I'm really passive most of the time about the radio. I don't really hear it, but once Christmas music comes on, I'm so aware of how often I'm surrounded by like radios. And...
Yeah, you don't notice the radio until Christmas music is on.
Exactly, which I think it's just one of those things that make you go, huh? Is there always a radio there?
Yeah, it's like it's playing in stores and like in offices and stuff. It drives me freaking crazy. Yeah, so I sound like a bitter old man, but it just annoys me. I don't know. I like Christmas and everything, but man, the overexposure of that music is just crazy. The overexposure of Christmas in general is crazy. Let's wait until December, people. Come on.
Yeah.
At least mid-November. I'll give you that, but October is that's just too far.
But the reason why people are so like pre-obsessed about Christmas is because when you think about it, right? So if you say, okay, everyone starts on December, that's only like I'd say that's about the guts of 3 weeks to get all your shopping done and all your presents bought. Which, if you're not like an internet kind of person and you don't buy it online like everyone else does, and you have to go around stores and looking for the best deal, you need to get out there as quick as possible because everything just either it goes up in price or it drops down before, and then it goes up. Like the pricing is just really weird.
I mean,
around Christmas.
Christmas shopping has become irrelevant nowadays. If you are tech savvy enough to type in a website into a page, you're gonna find the best deal. Like that's you don't need to search around anymore. You go like, what's the best deal on this? And then there's a big aggregate site that just says, hey, this is selling it for the cheapest. Buy it here. And they're like, okay.
Anyways, one of the big presents you get at Christmas time is games.
Video games! All right. 15 minutes in, and we've yet to even say anything about it. So what do you want to talk about what we've been playing, or do you want to jump into news?
Well, okay. I don't mind it. Have you played anything yourself? If you can say no.
I finished Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. We'll talk about what we played. So, Randy, you've been playing Call of Duty?
I finished Call of Duty.
All right.
Advanced Warfare.
Is it 6 hours? Like,
yes.
Okay, all right. I was hoping for a bit chunkier campaign.
Well, I mean, it felt chunkier, but I also played it on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, okay.
But it also felt easier than past Call of Duties, which I will say is a good thing, because I don't think you go into a Call of Duty campaign for the challenge. I just don't think you do. I put it on. The reason I crank it up is because those games are so ball-bustingly easy that I just feel like I'm skating through it, Yeah. I crank it up because I don't want it to feel like a movie. I want at least a little bit of a thing where I...
There's multiple videos out there of people playing Call of Duty. I'm not sure what difficulty, but they're playing the game and they just don't shoot anyone and they just make it through the whole
they don't
level,
need to, but if you crank the difficulty up, it's not perfect, because if you crank the difficulty up, then all of a sudden every enemy ever knows exactly where you are and it takes you 2 shots to die. But at the same time, like, I'd rather that.
Yeah.
But this game doesn't do it like that.
I don't know. I just, from like my personal experience playing previous Call of Duties, whenever you turn the difficulty up, everything just, it's pinpoint accuracy and grenade spam. So I tend to just go, okay, I'm just going to play this on regular or whatever and just play through it on a normal difficulty. And I don't know, like, I always thought that, like, Hardened Veteran, maybe Hardened's okay, I'll probably play that now, but Veteran, I think that's just, before, like, maybe I'm thinking COD 4, Black Ops 2, it was just crazy, because, like, it wasn't more challenging, it was just the AI was better, and I wouldn't regard it as challenging, I just think that's more unfair.
No, yeah, absolutely, but well, that's what I was going to say, is that this one I don't feel like falls into that trap, for the most part. There are a couple, I'd say there was one really bad part that I'm like, this is just absolutely dumb. Like, and it's even worse that your AI companions completely ignore enemies a lot of the time. So in your mind, when your companion is walking by an area, you would think that he would see an enemy and shoot him, right? Like, that's just logic.
Yeah, of course.
But no, like, they run right by it. So your mind doesn't think like, oh, I need to look over where that guy was because he would have taken care of it. But no, like, there's a guy standing there and he shoots you down in 2 shots. That sucks. And it's really hard to get over that. But there's only one, maybe 2 missions I can think of that really fall into that trap. The rest are pretty straightforward. And so that game was borderlining on awesome until about halfway through.
Okay.
And then it becomes pretty good. Not great.
All right. So
there are some really, really, really cool moments in that first half of that. Maybe the first 2/3.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, like, I told you this, like, every step of the way I'm thinking, like, that's just cool. Like, there's no other way to describe other than
that is
what's the coolest way we can. But even so now, because it's set in the future, so we're like, okay, we're gonna throw realism out this window and we're just gonna come up with the coolest possible scenario here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're gonna skydive, or we're not even gonna skydive. We're gonna be like flying with a jetpack next to an airplane, and we have to take this plane down. So we're gonna set this mine on the plane of the wing, and the mine blows off and cuts the wing off, and then like, it's just cool. Like, who cares? It doesn't have to make sense, and it's great. But then like halfway, I feel like I would have been, because right up front, right in a row, just I feel like all the missions in the first half or 2/3 are fantastic. And then I feel like maybe if they spread them out differently, if they made some of the later missions be earlier, because then it would feel like, oh, okay, so the pacing's a little better now, because that means it's great, pretty good, great, pretty good, okay, great. But instead it's great, 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 okay, pretty good, okay, okay. Yeah, so, but, there's, and like, they kind of forget about they just don't care about the story about the halfway point. I was kind of all right with the story up until that moment.
Do you think, right, so you said that the story kind of dips, like, in quality, or is it...
Well, I mean, it's not an amazing story to
or...
begin with. I feel like... But it's not even interest, because the story is not really... The story just kind of stops at one point. It's just like, okay, now you know what is happening, now we just have to get it done. You know? It's not even... Yeah, like, I don't know if I should say it or not.
I was going to ask, since you just kind of said there, you felt like the story stopped, do you think that's because of the whole, annual release kind of thing, or... I'm pretty sure this
I mean, well, I don't know. They had like 3 years to work on this one. So,
right. I was thinking this was straight off the bat from Ghosts. Like, they just fired away at it, and I was like, wow, that's impressive that they...
I mean, this game and every Call of Duty, except for maybe the Black Ops games, are set pieces first, story second, you know? Like, they care more about the minute-to-minute exciting action. And
cool scenarios.
As a result, the story suffers a lot of the time. Yeah. And... this is no exception. Like they're like, okay, what's this? And a lot of times they don't even tell you why you're doing half the stuff that you're doing. You're just they have a really, there are scenes, I should say, that are really good. Like the cutscenes, and they look incredible. They're almost photorealistic. Kevin Spacey is just all the way Kevin Spacey in it, and they give you these little drama moments. And then they just kick you directly into the next mission without any context whatsoever. Like, why are we here? Right. I don't even know. Like, it's just, but who cares? Because then it's, like you can, I mean, the story's not complicated enough to where you can't figure out why you're there eventually.
Yeah.
But it's kind of jarring where it's just like, okay, fade to black, fade back in. Whoa, I'm flying through the air. Now I'm so, like, what's happening?
I kind of think that in terms of story, like, I think Call of Duty would work better as a kind of what's the word? It's kind of like so just say you're in a Spec Ops team, then you get a mission to do, and you just do the mission. I think because I always feel like the story in Call of Duty is it's just there to frame what's going on.
Yes, it is a reason to get you to do, and even a bad reason, because they don't even explain it very well. It's just they try to put context in the crazy things that you're trying to do.
Right. So my idea is the world. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. So we're too what's the word? Too chatty, too excited about Call of Duty. So the word I was thinking of, or the scenario I was thinking of, is that if I think a cool idea for a future Call of Duty game is to do kind of like Spec Ops, where you're given these missions with no real background or whatever. I was thinking if Call of Duty just goes into it without a real kind of story and just focuses on making really cool missions, just why not? Just say you're part of a really cool SWAT team, Spec Ops team, whatever, and then you're in these cool scenarios. You're taking down these drug lords or warlords, whatever, and just ramp up the cool and kind of keep the story to a minimum,
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. And you mean Spec Ops the mode, right?
Oh yeah, Spec Ops the mode. Yeah,
not the game.
No.
Spec Ops the line, because I was going to say, like, that is heavy on the narrative.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it though? Like, because when I think of Spec Ops the line, I don't remember the mission in that game, but I remember the story about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like, the mission doesn't matter. It's the characters and the way they are handling it that matters, and that's what makes a good story.
So it's very much
95% of the time. Yeah, like 95% of the time, the political stuff doesn't matter. It's just a reason to get you there, and then once you're there, that's when that's when the story happens.
Yeah,
who cares about what the politics or the war scenario is? It just doesn't matter. Yeah. The character moments, that's what matters.
For Modern Warfare 2, they had a great scenario where the Russians were invading the US, so you had to take on the role as a US soldier.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Repelling off the invasion, and you just get these really cool moments, like you're defending like a restaurant area. You're in restaurants shooting out at other people, and like Denny's and stuff like that. And then
Modern Warfare Burger World or something like that.
Yeah, it's like it's really is a reference to what's that movie? Red Dawn.
Red Dawn, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's like a really well done reference to like that movie. And again, Black Ops 1 did it again with like what was it, Deer Hunter? And that's a Vietnam movie where that's the whole scene with the gun to the head and then you spin it, the Russian roulette scene. So like Call of Duty does this kind of thing where it looks at these cool moments in movies and then just puts it into those their own game, like just said, "Oh, that was cool. Let's just do that here. Let's recreate it here." And I really think that their missions are kind of like the way they get to it, but with the stories, like the way they pinpoint every cool moment to each other, it gets really long-winded and just messy. So
Yeah.
I'm all in favor of a very laid-back story with just really cool moments. But I can't see it happening because I know Call of Duty they're very much, they want a story, and I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, but I don't know why, because I don't think anybody else does. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
they seem to be the only people that the developers seem to be the only one that care if there's a story in it. Because if I want a story, I'll play something else. I'll watch something else. I'll read something else. Like I don't need everything to have an incredible narrative. I just don't. And the mission design is here. In fact, it's kind of distracting because, like I said, when I get put into a scene without much context, I'm like, what? Why? If there wasn't much of a story, I wouldn't have cared. I'm like, oh, okay, this is just my mission. This is what I have to do.
Yeah.
And I will say that probably equivalent to maybe even a little better than the Black Ops games is that the pacing is better in terms of, when I think of Modern Warfare 2 especially, but even 1 a little bit, those games just don't stop. Like, they don't slow down ever.
Very relentless.
You're kind of just, with few exceptions, like there are, stealth scenes and stuff, but for the most part, it is just you a lot of times you are being brought into a mission when there are like artillery and stuff going off already, like before you even start. It's just before the screen even comes up, you can hear it. And in this, there are plenty of, I'll say, Half-Life-esque moments. I was thinking about Half-Life when they were happening. Like, you'll walk around and just see cool stuff, and there's a lot of world building. I thought that was actually really well done. The pacing's just better. It isn't just constant breakneck speed. It's not exhausting like I felt like the other Call of Duties could be. And I think it's overall. I think it's just really good.
It sounds
overall.
Yeah, it sounds like a very refreshing kind of entry because like
it's fun.
It's fun. There you go. That's all you want.
That's really all you need. Yeah. If you want like to play a fun summer blockbuster type thing. Maybe go for it. And it's the best Call of Duty has been in a while, so granted I didn't play much of Ghosts, but I heard, is it Ghost or Ghosts?
Ghosts.
Plural?
Yeah,
plural, okay.
Call of Duty Ghosts. Yeah, Ghosts. So what do you think next for Call of Duty? What do you think the next game?
I don't know.
Do you reckon do you reckon it could be Advanced Warfare 2 down the line?
Oh yeah, probably. I mean yes. I don't see them not, because especially, I mean, this is getting a lot of praise. It's not just for me. A lot of people seem to like it, and it's a cool world they've built. Mm-hmm. I'm worried actually because I don't want to go back anymore.
You just kind of you want to go.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fine with going back to this world. I just don't want to go back to the past. I don't want to go back to modern. I want to stay advanced, because advanced was cool.
All right. Well, the reason I asked you that is that I've seen a few tweets and news poking around that apparently they kind of do want to go back to World War II. They want to go back to the classic genre. And
I might be okay with.
Yeah, as very cliched as it is, everyone was complaining about World War II games. Now that there isn't any, everyone wants them back.
There hasn't been any. I was actually, when I was reviewing Sniper Elite, whatever, 3? Sniper Elite 3?
Yeah.
I reviewed the game. I couldn't even tell you which one it was. I played that game to completion. But I remember playing that game and just having the feeling of the rawness of World War II. And I'm like, I kind of miss World War II. Mm. It's been long enough to where I picked up a Thompson submachine gun. I'm like, oh, this feels right. It's just, I know these guns.
It is the perfect war. World War II, too early. Vietnam, too late. World War II, perfect. There you go.
I mean, World War I.
Well,
you said World War.
See, that's the problem. Like, if you're doing like games on war, you can only go so far. Like, unless you're.
Well, you said World War I. You said World War II too early. Vietnam too late, and then World War II again. I think you meant World War I.
Oh, did I?
Too early.
You know.
Yeah, well, I think so. I just wanted to make sure. I'm like, wait, why is World
That's a weird thing. We like in history, we barely learned about World War One. They were like, it just happened. That's all you need to know.
Well, it's because World War II happened not almost immediately, but pretty close to, and it was because World War I wasn't resolved. It wasn't, You know, it was clearly just like, okay, people are dying, we need to end this, but no one actually had us like got what they want out of it. So
well, we didn't learn anything about it.
It's looming.
You know, we just thought World War II was basically World War One because we hadn't heard a whiff of World War One. We just heard. Yeah. So after World War One, this happened, and like, what happened to World War One? Saying World War One really fast.
World War One.
It's like
World War One.
www.
www.
So I really liked Black Ops when it came out, the whole Vietnam thing. I thought that was...
Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was cool. There was, like, I really like, Rambo, I guess. And there's a little bit of Rambo going on there. You get to, you know, be all sneaky around, like, Viet Cong camps. And,
it's also grotesquely violent. And I mean, there
grotesquely violent as well, yes.
There are scenes that are very, very Rambo, like when you're sneaking into the town, or not the town, the little village thing, and you're stabbing them while you're sleeping, and it's like super grotesque. Like, that is Rambo.
Oh yeah, to a T. And then you get caught, and then suddenly you have a rocket launcher. Yeah, that is Rambo. That is absolutely Rambo. All you're missing is the red bandana and big pecs.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he had one on. You're playing first person.
Yeah, I guess he definitely didn't have big pecs. I gotta look down and see. You know, he was just a floating gun for all I know.
Yeah, I mean, he's arms and gun. Like, he is not. No wonder he's so hard to kill, because
perfectly engineered.
They're just shooting through his body because there's nothing there.
It's just two arms.
Hit his arms. That's all he has, Sarge.
Just spam grenades. Okay. He's playing on veteran. Oh, spam more grenades.
So, one more thing I want to talk about Advanced Warfare is the Kevin Spacey-ness.
Yes. Please elaborate.
I mean, you get Kevin Spacey for a reason.
Yeah,
That is the reason you got Kevin Spacey. And, I mean, they use him. They know his strengths. And they use it.
Is he
and it works.
Okay, is he hamming it up, or is he, like, proper
going
for it,
like, that's the thing, is that I was a bit worried when they got Kevin Spacey, because I'm like, okay, big name actor. He's not going to give a crap about this. He just wants the paycheck. No, he does a really good job. Like, he clearly cares. And
I'd love to know why. Is he a gamer? Is he a fan?
I think he is. Like, I think I don't know how far you got in House of Cards, but there are scenes where Frank Underwood is playing, like, God of War and stuff, like Battlefield. Like, I think he is actually, I don't know if, like, that's true to his life, but I don't know. I just got the impression that he likes that sort of stuff. Yeah, like, this fictional character fits with what I think this actor would do. You're right.
I see Kevin Spacey with a controller. It works for me, okay?
Yeah, like, it fits.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just seems like the guy that just doesn't give a crap. Like, you know what? I'm going to play this game. And that's exactly how Frank Underwood is. It's like, I'm just going to, I get that I'm a politician and I shouldn't be playing video games, but guess what? Screw you.
Frank Underwood. Is this what he wants? In a drawling southern accent.
There's a scene, it's not a big spoiler, but they cut Frank Underwood's internet, and he's trying to get online to play the multiplayer version of God of War Ascension. That's fantastic. And he's like, he's complaining about it. He's like, why can't I get online?
Oh,
it's
God.
Great. It's so good. It is actually God of War Ascension. Like, they show the PS3, they show the loading screen and everything.
That sounds like, I feel like that will suffer come 10 years down the line or whatever. It's like, God of War Ascension. It suffers now, I guess.
You know what drives me nuts? In basically I appreciated it, though, because it was the real thing.
Right.
Do you know when a lot of times they'll have characters in TV shows and stuff playing like just a PSP or something, and there's like Atari bleeps and bloops coming out of it. It's like, and they're just smashing on the buttons. Not really, like, it doesn't make any sense. And then they'll show the actual game, and it's like Tomb Raider or something. It's some big budget thing, but yet the sound is like, it's
what
so
you playing,
dumb.
son? Grand Theft Auto, bleep bloop bloop. Yeah, I do appreciate it when
waka waka waka.
a TV show just actually does show a game and being played. I think the only one I can think of is what was it, Friends. There was like a scene where they were playing Chandler was playing like Crash Team Racing. Yeah, it was the scene when Joey came out with the underpants over his trousers and he's pretending to be 19. And like the game was still playing in the background, and I was like, that's nice. That's a nice little touch.
As a gamer, like, you appreciate that. I hate the term gamer, but I don't know how else to whatever. Like,
you wouldn't call a movie fan a movier, so you know.
I've said that. I've said those exact words. Yeah. I've also said you wouldn't call a fan of books a booker. Like
Booker
that. Booker.
Yeah. Like I hate the word gamer. It's just And especially now, because it labels you as terrible
It
person.
also, yeah, like it just, I don't need to be, I like video games. I don't need a label. I like movies too.
Yeah.
So
That's the thing. Like, how much do you have to play games to be called a gamer? And how many movies do you have to watch to be called like?
Yeah, that's why the term is dumb.
Yeah.
Because if the definition is someone who plays game, well then the vast majority of the population of this earth is a gamer of some kind. Like they smartphones and stuff like that. Those count. Those are video games.
If you play a game on your phone or even
Facebook,
Facebook, online, whatever, you're no different than a gamer than someone who plays like a PC, PS4 or Xbox One game. It's the same thing, just different. Like I said, it's just weird where people are like, oh, he's a gamer, he's big into games. Like, how many games has he played? It's like, he's played
Call
like
of Duty and Madden.
Yeah, he's he's a big gamer. Like, it's weird. It's really hard to measure that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's great when you see celebrities say it too, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I played Donkey Kong in like the '80s, and now I play a bunch of Call of Duty." Yeah. Like, come on,
I'm a gamer. I just play NBA.
Huge gamer. I mean, but that's the thing. But that's why that word annoys me. Like, I don't care what your gaming habits are. You play video games. It doesn't matter. I just don't know why that matters.
Yeah, it's like
there are
like
people that have varying degrees of interest in video games, and that's fine. Like, we don't need to label it.
It's like someone saying, "Oh, I'm a fan of music." So is everyone else. Who isn't?
Yeah, kind of.
I'd be shocked if they weren't. I hate music.
Yeah, it's not like what people don't ask. Do you like music? It's what kind of music do you like? Right? It's the same thing.
So why not? Yeah, everyone watches movies. Everyone plays games. So
I mean, at some point, yes. At some point, we will get there to where people won't be like, "What kind of or do you play games?" It'll be, "What kind of games do you play?" And that's kind of where we need to get to.
I guess. It's kind of there. They'd be like, "Oh, I just play games."
Not really, because a lot of people don't count phone games and stuff like that as video games.
Yeah, I guess.
They're like, "Oh, it's an app."
Game's
like,
a game.
No, it's not.
Game's a game.
Yeah.
I see it the same way. I mean, I played some good games on my iPod. I played like really cool apps. Kind of, they're very kind of they're very indie-ish kind of games. Like not like Doodle Jump or like Candy Crush. Definitely not. I wouldn't consider those as much games as like just...
They are games, though.
Yeah, but they're more tools to take money out of people's pockets than anything.
Did you see that South Park?
No, I actually haven't, and I've been really meaning to watch it.
Well, I mean, that is right up what you're talking about. So
I'm going to appreciate this, because this is kind of to do with my my group thesis. The whole...
all right. Maybe you should watch
I should, yeah. Just link it to everyone. Like, hey, guys, this is exactly what we're going for.
Yeah, kind of. When I watch that, I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I think about free-to-play, so...
I've been loving South Park lately. It's been really hitting.
Yeah.
It's been hitting the bars, but, like, the problem I have is that when I usually tend to watch the season again, I have a feeling like when I watch this, maybe 4 or 5 months from now, it's going to be like, oh god, it's really, really dated, Which,
I mean, South Park has shifted to no longer coming up with their own stuff, and it is now just, well, all right, what's hot? Let's comment on that. Like, it's no longer, when you go back to the old seasons, they had some references, but it was around the base story. Now it's just like, okay, how can we parody what's going on currently right
Which
now?
Which is fine, I think, to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to get them to stay relevant and stuff like that, but you try to go back and watch those old episodes, and it's going to be kind of rough.
Yeah. They do a good job of kind of building a story off on those premises, It's okay. That's usually what they do, where it's just like, oh, there's a new iPad coming out. Let's do a story about that. And
but they're not hiding the fact that they are.
Yeah.
It's not subtle.
No, definitely
it's not like
like the Hughes
stands on its own. It kind of doesn't.
Yeah,
it's funny, but is it as funny if you don't know what they're talking about?
Did you see
really.
The iPad, human sent iPad one?
Yeah, sent iPad.
It's still pretty funny, but like.
Well, I mean, because it's still relevant.
Eventually, that will just be... People just like, I don't get this at all. What is this?
But the thing is, though, that's funny without knowing what human centipede is.
That's true. It's very gross, though, at the same time.
But if you don't know, like, at some point, if the terms of service or whatever, if that somehow... It probably... That's a bad example, because I don't think that's ever going to go away. Everyone's just going to blindly accept the terms of use thing.
Yeah, which is always funny. So...
Yeah, so I don't think that's going anywhere.
They do a better job.
I don't think iPads
relevant.
are going away either. So
the South Park do a way better job at staying relevant and like new than the Simpsons do, like tenfold. Because like,
well, I mean, South Park, it takes them 6 days to make those. Simpsons, it takes like months.
Exactly.
I
was going to say that gives them the advantage because it's very low maintenance, I think, compared to the Simpsons. Well, it's obviously more maintenance than I could ever do, but it's definitely, in terms of animation, not as demanding as the Simpsons. So they can kind of crack them out very quickly.
How do you feel? Where do you like the Simpsons still? I do this thing where I try to go a marathon the Simpsons and I watch the first 10 seasons and I'm like, yeah, and then I start season 11. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's okay.
10 is actually a little bit. It starts to decline, but then 11 just like there's a noticeable instant drop.
Yeah, like I can still watch it to a degree, but when it kind of goes, but once it went HD, that's when.
I mean, it looks different.
Yeah, once it started looking really like once there's I remember there's like a specific point, in one of the seasons, it's like the episode is the tennis episode. They specifically redrew the episode with digital ink instead of the traditional way. So it looks super weird. It looks really, like, glossy and HD compared to, like, the really kind of charming old school drawing. And
I don't even remember the tennis episode.
Okay. Well,
oh, yes, I do.
Well, okay, so maybe you remember what happens in it, but if you actually look at it, you would just from the bat, you just notice, whoa, this is so different looking. It's so much more colorful and... Not that that's a bad thing, but it just doesn't suit The Simpsons as you remember it. So at that point, I kind of realized, well, actually, the show isn't the same show like when I was...
But, I mean, it would be fine if that were the only thing that changed about it, you know? If it were still as great as it was, like, you would eventually get over the change in visuals. But the thing is, though, is that it's not nearly as good as it was.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know, like, this is with nearly everything that people love when they were younger and then growing up. And they go back on it and they realize, oh, it's not actually as good as I remembered. The thing is...
It's a visual reminder.
Yeah, things change, you know, and shows change along with them. So you have to realize that The Simpsons is kind of... The demographic is definitely not the same people who watched the shows years ago. Which is very unfortunate because people who grew up loving the shows and thinking, oh, yeah, I can't wait for this, like, to keep going and just, you know, really... keep making great episodes, and they do make fine episodes, but it's not something I'd watch. It's something for someone else. And
well, I mean, the problem is, I think the most recent episodes of Simpsons would be fine if it were a new show, but you're trying to live up. The Simpsons was the greatest television show ever. Mm-hmm. Like at one point, it was the best thing on TV, and now it's just serviceable, and that's. You know, like it's hard to think that just at once was the greatest is now just okay, and you know, I can get okay anywhere else. I don't need to watch The Simpsons for that. So,
but you know, you still have a good how many seasons? I want to say maybe 8,
26
9.
Or something.
No, I mean the good seasons.
Oh yeah, 9. I'd say there's 8 amazing seasons. 9 and 10, or 9's good, 10's okay, and then
it just. Like, the thing was, a lot of the writers went to Futurama, and then it dipped considerably, because season 1 of Futurama is great. Like, it's really good. I think season 2 was good as well. I can't remember. And then I think it got cancelled. Maybe after season 3 it got cancelled.
I think it was 4 seasons cancelled.
Really? And then came back. And when it came back...
When
it came back, it was just like The Simpsons, just set in the future. It was the same, like...
It was okay.
Yeah. They were doing references to, like... iPads and everything in the future,
which is actually really funny.
Yeah, yeah, it is funny. But like I said, that's because it's a different kind of humor to The Simpsons. It's this kind of like, it's slightly what you know, but twisted, which I enjoy because I like kind of alternate reality kind of things, like you do. But The Simpsons is kind of like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, here's Homer with an iPad, and you know. That's kind of the joke, and he's playing like a clone of Angry Birds or something like that, and then he gets annoyed playing Angry Birds, and it's kind of like, ha, I'm like that too. Oh, this show. that's
I mean, there are only so many takes on current events that can be funny, you know? Like, that's what Futurama, the first 4 seasons and the first 9 seasons of the Futurama and the Simpsons respectively were really good because they were their own thing. Like, you go back... there are a few things that are outdated because they do reference things occasionally, but for the most part, those suckers, like, they stand the test of time because they're their own stories. Yeah. That you don't need you can jump into any Simpsons episode in those first 9 years and be like, okay, that's great. You know, like I don't need to know anymore. And the same thing with Futurama. But as soon as they start trying to, I don't know why. Like, why do they need that? Is it just like an easy creative to be like, okay, we don't need to come up with our own stories because the news is doing that for us. Like, what is the reasoning behind it? I don't know. It's a shame.
Yeah, I kind of just want the Simpsons to wrap it up, but I don't think
they won't.
I don't think it will. It's going to keep on going as long as it can. And
I feel like once one of the cast members dies, because I feel like Harry Shearer or whatever his name is getting up there in age, so maybe once he dies. No, but then I feel like they'll just get a sound alike, because there's actors that could pull those voices off. You'd know it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So,
but hopefully not. Anyways, moving back to games rapidly enough.
Do you want to talk about Fallout, or do you want to just move on to news?
Yes, I could talk a bit about Fallout. So,
all right.
So this week, I came back from my break and I decided, I'm gonna have a look through my library of games, and I realized that I actually bought the new Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition with all the DLC, but I realized I'd never took off like the shrink wrap, so I was like, well, there you go. I guess I know what I'm playing. So, so I popped it in.
Super Mario Brothers.
Happy days. But the good thing about this is I tried this before. See, okay, so what I do with Fallout games is, maybe most Bethesda games, is I buy the main game, and if I really like the main game, I wait until the Ultimate Edition or Game of the Year Edition or whatever goes down in price, because those suckers go down really fast. They go from 60 euro to maybe
no one buys them.
20 euro, you know?
It's because very few, like, there's probably initial burst when they first come out, but no one cares about them because they either have the original game with the DLC or they waited for the...
Exactly. So, because when you work it out, if you're paying, like, $10 for each DLC episode, there's about, four or five DLC episodes.
Fallout? I have no idea.
It's something, with most Bethesda games, it's usually, there's a few.
It's 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, like I think Elder Scrolls, Skyrim rather, had 3, I want to say, 3 or 4. So like it makes sense bigger, just to get the ultimate thing instead of just picking and choosing or, paying more than you should. So I had to go with it. It does this thing where if you have an old load, so just say I put in my old Fallout New Vegas disc and I play a game for like maybe 3 days. And then I save it, and then I put in the New Vegas with the Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition will load that old Fallout save, which is good because you can just buy the new edition with all the DLC, load up one of your old characters, and then just go do the DLC. But I decided, I'm just going to start with a new character because I've heard one of the DLCs is excruciatingly hard. And
wait, so what? Why would you start as a new character then?
Because I wanted to because it's not a case of, it's hard in terms of like, you need to be really high stats. You need to have specific high stats.
Okay.
So you need to
I get you.
So I was like, okay, I need to focus on unarmed. That's one thing. And survival.
It kind of sucks.
Which it's not, it was just a personal thing because I don't want to play DLC and be like, this is really hard. And I really hate it. And, I decided I just want to be well prepared for it, I guess. So yeah, I'm actually having a lot of fun with New Vegas still. Like to this day, I'm still playing this game because every so often,
it's a good game.
It's really good. It's very fine RPG for sure. Like there's a lot of cool elements in it. Like I really like the faction as opposed the faction. So like you remember how this works, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So right, for anyone who doesn't know, basically, there's factions in the game, and you, as the courier, just if you offend a faction, the entire faction will hate you. So just say you come up to this gang, you shoot the gang dead, and then all of a sudden it comes up, you are now vilified by this particular gang. So what happens then is whenever the other members of the gang see you, they'll start to attack you. However, there's a lot of elements of play where you can do something that's good for one faction, but another faction will hate you for doing it. So it's kind of like a morality thing, but you can, there's ways to kind of get around it. So you can wear like disguises and stuff. So if you're completely locked out of going to one area, you can just put on a disguise and then you can go in. It doesn't always work, by the way, because like guards and stuff will spot you. And I found out that the hard way, unfortunately, because I just played the game, just started the game. It starts off, the powder gangers want to take over Good Springs. I defeated the powder gangers. Powder gangers hate me. I go over to the prison where the powder gangers are, had my costume on, disguise, whatever, walk up to the front door, and the guy was like, hey, wait a minute. And yeah, I'd had to shoot him in the head. But everyone else was cool with me though. That's the weird thing. Like, I shot this guy in the head and just walked in, and everyone else who wasn't a guard was like, oh, hey.
I mean, that's not the only weird thing about those games. Those games got some weird stuff.
Yeah, very much so. Because I remember when it was released, everyone was just saying, like, there were so many bugs in this game. And
oh god, it was brutal because I got it around when it came out, and
I waited. I was sure to wait because I was like, that sucker is just going to be awful. When
well,
it comes
the thing
out.
is though, is that's why reviews suck. It's because the game got high praise when it came out, regardless of the bugs. They didn't really go into they're like, oh yeah, there are some bugs. There's some unplayable, horrible, disgusting bugs in that game.
Awful bugs, yeah.
But people were saying like, oh, don't worry, it's not game breaking. Bull crap, it's not. It was bad, and like that's why, because I trusted the reviews that said like, hey, that's why when I see an 8, I think like, oh, well, it can't be that bad. Well, guess what? It was.
Yeah, I tend to find that like 8s and 7s they're very kind of risky 8s and 7s, where they don't want to give it a bad score. They don't want to say, oh, this is a 6. When I would usually give it a 6. But that's very true. Any game I played.
That's kind of generous for a game that's almost unplayable.
Yeah, but like
when it came out, it was.
Yeah, it was really bad because you just couldn't play the game most of the time. And what's another game that recently came out? Lords of the Fallen. That's been getting decent enough scores. I'm pretty sure, high 70s maybe.
Yeah.
And I just remember reading a lot of people complaining, saying the game keeps crashing whenever I load it up. If I was a reviewer, I would give the game a significantly less score if that was the case. I'm talking like at least below 6, because if you can't play the game and it keeps crashing on you, then they always say, oh, it will be sorted out post launch, but that's the reviewer is playing a completely different product to what the consumer will play. So like you said, it's very hard to like review something that's going to be completely different, because if you could play something where it's like, oh, this game is broken, it didn't work at all, 4 out of 10, and then the gamer gets it and it has a patch and it's completely fixed, and it's like, oh, what are you talking about? This game is brilliant. This is at least
at the same time,
8.
there are a lot of people that can't get patches, like that don't have the internet bandwidth to download, like,
which that always sucks.
Especially these patches, the sizes of these patches,
they're always
unfreaking real these days.
They're
like,
so big.
The Halo one is like 20 gigabytes. That's stupid.
Yeah,
it's not, like, even people without internet caps, that's going to take you forever. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't play the game. Well, I mean, in theory you could, but you're playing an inferior product at that point. So you got to buy the game and then wait for it. That's ridiculous.
So I was playing the game. Just the last point before I move on. I was playing the game and I realized that there's actually there's a hell of a lot of good voice cast in this game, which I didn't even.
Chandler.
Could I be any more post-apocalyptic?
God.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
But I mean, it wasn't much worse than it was in the game.
Yeah, like it was just Chandler. Like it wasn't, well, okay, it was Benny, but like it was just, there was no kind of slight accent at all. It was just Chandler Bing shoots you in the face.
It's Chandler without the neuroticism, like is that even no, it's not, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Without the craziness, without the paranoia, like he's not as he's kind of suave in a way, he's he's
that old school charm.
Chandler's real crazy and jittery and stuff, like, and it's weird hearing very much Chandler's voice, like it's undeniable.
Yeah,
but without the like, why would you like the the craziness of Chandler, it's just it's like Chandler on Ritalin shooting you in the head,
basically. Yeah. I was just looking over the voice cast, like, some big names, like Matthew Perry, Chris Christopherson's there, Ron Perlman, I recognize a lot of these names, but I can't picture where. Zachary Levi,
Chuck, I think.
Let me double check that. Joy of IMDb. Felicia Day was in it too, which is that was cool.
I don't know.
Yes, it is Chuck. Thank you. He is chucking it up. And also, my favorite person ever, well, second to Rambo, is Danny Trejo is in the game, which is...
I was gonna say Batman's in the game?
Oh, actually, third person then, yeah. Danny Trejo's in the game, which I think is great. Because I was playing the game, he plays the role of a ghoul who follows you around and fixes your stuff for you. And he just, he calls you boss.
which is weird because I think you and I both, I don't think we ran into him the first time we played.
Yeah, which is, I really do enjoy games that are they're so big and so...
But that's crazy because Danny Trejo's not like a AAA star, but he's a name, and you got him to do the stuff that you could just not see. That's crazy.
You made the point of how annoyed you would be if you were...
Oh God!
If you worked for so long and no one found this out until years after,
Like if I worked on a quest, if I slaved over a quest for 6 months, and it was just a super side quest that was a stupid hidden side quest that was off the beaten path that you had to search for, and only a handful of people would see, I'd be super upset. I'd be like, I worked so hard on this. Yeah, but I guess if that was me, I'd be like, oh, you guys think you finished the game? No, I haven't seen anyone talk about this. I would just be teasing it and just hoping everyone loves it. But I mean, you gotta feel good for the guys that made Call of Duty because everything's getting seen in that stuff. There's no beaten paths on that thing. They're just right down the middle. You're gonna see it all. I mean, there might be animations you don't see or whatever because you're not looking in the right direction.
Yeah. I want to see
big chunks of that game that you're missing.
I want to see a playthrough of someone playing Call of Duty just staring at their feet the whole time. You're missing everything. It's just Kevin Spacey just saying, "Oh wow, there's some really cool stuff."
Son, look up.
He doesn't have a southern accent in the game, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, that's a missed opportunity to have.
Nah, he didn't. No, he's already Frank Underwood. You can't.
Yeah, basically. That's what I hear him say. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
Oh God.
He does say this is Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, and then everyone drinks because he said the name of the game.
And that's the only time it's ever said. So you're bumming out if you plan on getting drunk.
Actually,
off of that.
I think I saw that because it was in the trailer for the game.
It is in the trailer.
It turns out it's Advanced Warfare. Ah, thank God, I know what I'm playing.
That's a good thing because I spent money on this. I had no idea what this was. I just loaded it up. I forgot. I'm blind too, so I can't see the title screen. But once the game starts, then I get my vision back. So
yes. Is it the case of for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare? It's is the Advanced Warfare monumentally bigger than Call of Duty? Because I've noticed that in Black Ops, I think it was Ghost as well, where the tagline or subtitle is always way bigger than Call of Duty. Which
in what way?
When you see the names Call of Duty Advanced Warfare or Call of Duty Black Ops, the Black Ops is always way, way bigger in terms of size.
The reason they did that is because when they did Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, they then made a sequel to Modern Warfare. They did not make a sequel to Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Call of Duty up until that point was a World War II shooter. Uh-huh. So when they made a sequel to Modern Warfare, they had to make sure people knew that it was a Modern Warfare sequel and not a Call of Duty sequel. And now Call of Duty is just a thing on a box that you have to put there so people buy it. But that's not even the important part of it anymore.
I think they are comfortable enough to break away. They should just say Black Ops 3. Advanced Warfare 2. You know what I mean?
Black Ops, and yes, I don't know about Advanced Warfare, but definitely Black Ops could probably get away with it.
Or just Modern Warfare 4. I would be like, that sounds horrible to say.
Modern Warfare 2 probably could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
I bet you they wanted to. I almost guarantee you they wanted to
break away
from the makers of Call of Duty as Modern Warfare 2. I bet you they wanted to do that, but Activision's like, hey, guess what? That Call of Duty thing? Put that on the box.
Drop it, come on. All right.
Because I remember when the box art came out, it was super small. Like you said, it was super small.
Really small.
Call of Duty. Advanced Modern Warfare.
Yeah, just Call of Duty. Black Ops! Just screaming in your face. It's whoa, come on.
It just cuts to a guy screaming at you. Just,
brilliant. All right, so I think it's time
Hughes News.
Our favorite segment, of course, next to Steam
Hughes
reviews.
News.
Which we haven't done in 5 ever. Been a long time since we did Steam reviews.
We did it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Steam reviews.
I'm just lamenting at how it's been so
One
long.
of these days,
One of these days.
it'll come back.
One of these days we'll have 3 willing people.
Yeah, one of these days we'll have more than 2 people on this podcast.
Because if we do Steam reviews now, it's me just asking around the Q&A and waiting for
I mean, I
you to get
usually
the
win
answer.
anyway, so who cares?
Alright, so first bit of news up is a few details came out on the Game of Thrones Telltale games.
Ooh.
Tingy, Bobby, Yoki.
No, I mean, it's a game.
Sure.
It's not a comic book.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Here's the list. I'm reading this off Reddit, by the way, so forgive me for being really slow when I am reading. So it's based on a TV show rather than taking direct link to the books.
Which is the question I'm pretty sure I asked directly.
So, it's a good thing I started off with that then. So it's set between the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 5. I really
Okay, so I do have to catch up then.
Yeah,
is what you're telling me.
It follows House Forrester. Okay. It follows 5 points of view. So the members of House Forrester and Associates. And this is significant as one character can affect others in a ripple effect. That's actually really cool.
So that's smart that they did a non-imperative house, if that makes sense, because
yeah, like a side story kind of thing.
Yeah, because otherwise that's dangerous because they can't mess with the canon. It's like Walking Dead; it's a side story, right? They can't use the characters from Walking Dead because they have an arc that they have to follow. Yeah. So here's the side story that's nowhere near. Like that's kind of what needs to happen here, and that's kind of sounds like what they're doing, and that's good. So
while it is a side story, it does have familiar locations, such as King's Landing and the Wall.
Well, duh. I mean,
for sure.
Gotta.
Just saying, I'm just specifying which ones they're going to include. But also has unfamiliar locations such as Iron Rat and House Forrester's seat. So Forrester are based in the north of Westeros. It's a significant plot point.
I should grab my book and look at the map. There's a map.
So they're allied with the houses of the North, Stark House and all that malarkey, which I really need to watch Game of Thrones. I need to catch up.
Oh yeah,
really, really badly, and it's like a chore for me. I'm like,
I need to catch up. I've only seen season 1. I need to catch up.
So yeah, I really gotta catch up. Okay, so
I mean, I still need to. Yes, like that.
Yeah.
As soon as the semester is over, I'm gonna sit down with those books and just bang them out like I have to.
Alright, so it's coming to PC, Mac, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and iOS.
Game Boy Advance.
With additional platforms to be announced, which I assume means Wii U. Because, I
don't know.
These games seem absolutely right.
Android?
For Android, sure. Windows Phone. Yeah, there you go. Me and 2 other people that own a Windows Phone.
Wait, you have a Windows Phone?
Yeah, I do. It is just, it's fine. It's a phone.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, does it make phone calls?
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, it does. In terms of like apps and stuff, I don't really use it for that because I have an iPod. So, it's really weird. I have an iPod and a phone. It's just like, I might as well just tape them, like just get double-sided tape and stick them together because,
Yeah, you could just get a normal cell phone and tape an iPod to it. A smartphone.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. So I'm interested enough because I like the first episode of Game of Thrones I watched, and I was thinking, yeah, this is really, it's very dramatic, and there's loads of it's very pretty because I watched it on Blu-ray, and I was like, whoa, this is good because it just it feels cold.
I don't know if you know this, but they after the very first episode that they had good ratings, which was the first episode because.
Right.
They're like, okay, we spent so much money on the sets for this, we have to renew this.
Okay.
We have to do it now. So as soon as the first episode came out and it got good ratings, you're like, okay, renew it. We have to reuse these sets because holy crap.
Yeah. It is.
They are well done.
Very good first episode, I'd say. But it wasn't enough to make me come back because I had other stuff to do.
But nothing is. There's no show out there that would make you want to come back.
Yeah.
At least a show that's an hour long.
Yeah, that's it. It's just because it's an hour long. But then
I don't know. We'll make a pact. We'll get caught up.
We will. You heard it here.
Before this, we have to play this game. So
exactly. So
you especially you love this Telltale stuff, right?
Oh yeah, big time.
Big style.
Yeah, it works too.
Big style.
Me like Telltale. Big style. I feel like like an Asian, like a game show host right there.
Oh, big style.
Big style love, Telltale game. I actually don't
Hughes
know
news.
when it's coming out. I think the first
They
one.
said by the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, I think the first one will be out soon. There's no screenshots of it, by the way, which is
December seems to be their thing.
yeah. There's no screenshots of it, which is weird because I've already seen the screenshot of the Borderlands one, which I'm not that interested in playing because
I have no interest in that at all. Zero.
because
Negative.
Yeah, I'm not very interested in Borderlands.
I have
anyways.
more interest in other things that I care little about because of how little interest I have in that. That's how little interest.
That was like a very long-winded
don't-
insult right there.
That's because who cares about the Borderlands story?
Yeah.
Come on.
See, it's weird. Does this mean it's going to be Telltale dipping their toe in humor a bit more? Because
I mean, Telltale
they do humor.
was around
sometimes.
before Walking Dead.
Yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting they did game. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like before Walking Dead, I was just like Telltale did they did Back to the Future,
Sam and Max.
Sam and Max. Yeah, I keep forgetting.
Escape
about
from
Sam.
Monkey Island. They did a ton of freaking stuff.
Yeah.
Not Escape from Monkey Island. I don't even
I was
remember
thinking
what it was called. Tales from Monkey Island, I think.
Wait, I thought that was Lucas. Was that Telltale?
No, yeah, but they did a yes,
Okay.
but they did like a season of it after they got the license, I guess.
Really? I didn't know that. Let me just Google to verify. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm not crazy.
I'm not lying to you.
I'm not. Oh, they did. Huh. I
Yeah.
did not know that. Wow. Weird. I keep
Jurassic Park.
confusing
Apparently a
Telltale
disaster.
with Traveler's Tales like all the time. Because I'm like, oh, Traveler's Tales. They made that.
They're widely different.
I remember like they made the real old school. What was it? Bugs Life, like the Bugs Life game,
Oh God!
which I played and I thought it was
On like PS1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Those bad games.
Anyways, moving on.
Hughes news.
Hughes news. Round 2. So their Just Cause 3 was actually officially announced this week. It's the cover story for Game Informer. And
Yeah.
there is no microtransactions like we thought. And it's not free to play, so we could take solace in that fact.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So a few details came out because of the Steam page for Just Cause 3.
Wait, there's a Steam page already?
Yep, there sure is.
Holy crap.
Let me double check. Yep, so it says here, it's a Mediterranean island over 400 square miles. So, yeah.
That sounds like too much.
But then again...
It also doesn't... I mean, it sounds like a lie, but then again, your character movement's probably going to be like 100 miles an hour,
Yeah.
so...
Holy crap, Just Cause 2 is €3, which is crazy. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm sure
I
that's
already
like
have
$3.
It was like
cheap.
free.
Cheap as chips. Please buy it. If you have not played Just Cause 2, please just go play it.
I'm not as big on Just Cause 2 as everyone else is, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. If you're gonna play it on PC, because then you can play it in multiplayer mod, I think. Which
Yeah, with the 150 players in one server or whatever.
it's mayhem. So yeah, the news coming out is it's over 400 square miles. Some of the locations include military bases, obviously, harbors, prisons, and police stations.
Also, it's a Just Cause game.
Don't forget, there's also going to be planes and missiles and explosions.
What? Is there a grappling hook?
I am pretty sure there is.
There has to be.
Oh yeah, because even in the logo, it's just a grappling hook going across Just Cause, and like
I mean, you can't
it needs the ultimate.
take that out like that.
It needs the unlimited parachutes as well. Has to, otherwise.
I mean, that was the thing that everyone liked about Just Cause
It was
2
the
was
best.
the grappling hook and parachute combo thing.
Yeah.
So if they got rid of that, then why?
So what else here is a wide range of explosive weaponry from shotguns, missile launchers to tank busters and airstrikes. Which, yeah, if it's just Cause 2 with a bit something better. I don't know what exactly. Just more. I think. We'll do fine if they have an online, like an official online. That would be amazing, because like 100, like you said, 100 people screwing around. Maybe not on consoles. Maybe it'll be like 16 players, but 16 players fucking around a map. That sounds like something fun. I don't think there's any game like that. Even GTA Online isn't like that because it's very strict. I'm like, oh, you can't do that. You can't blow up other people's cars because blah 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 blah. But if it's chaotic as the game, Just Cause 2, then Just Cause 3 multiplayer, if it does exist actually. It'd be really good.
All this talk. Now that I think about it, I feel like Just Cause is the good version of Mercenaries. Do you remember Mercenaries?
Yeah, I do. Which I played Mercenaries 2. So
that game sucked worse.
Yeah.
At first, Mercenaries, everyone was like so pumped for it,
and
then it just was balls. It wasn't very good.
Mm.
I don't even remember what I remember it being a big deal as it was coming out, and then I remember hating it, and I remember everyone. There was a pitch. There was like a hook that I don't remember what it was, but I don't know. But to me, it sounds like just the chaos that game was trying to promise is what this game is actually finally delivering on.
And the other thing I would want from the new Just Cause, like if I had to have anything, I would love if there was like
co-op.
Yeah, actually, two things then. If there was destructible environments, more so than just the things that are tagged red, because like
so like Red Faction.
Basically, yeah, because the most satisfying part about Just Cause was to me anyways, was just throwing the sticky bombs on everything and then just standing up on a hill and you always have to turn around because you can't look at explosions when, they're going off in your face. Everybody knows this. You press the button, he just, clicks the button and then just everything explodes and you get loads of points and then it's like, oh, mission complete or base completed, and it's just so satisfying. But if I could do that with like the entire base and just completely level it, then that would be just the bee's knees. That would be amazing.
Yeah, Just Cause 3. I probably won't play it, but
I'm sure. Yeah, I know Adam will because he loves Just Cause 2, so he's with me on that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I see what everyone likes about it, and I just think it wore out its welcome too quick for me. I got, I don't know. I got bored of it.
Yeah, it's the perfect game where you can just kind of pick up and play, and then you don't really need the story because the story is just.
Well, that's
terrible.
The thing is that's what I kind of needed from it. I needed a better structure. I needed more structure because otherwise it is just making your own fun, and that only holds my interest for so long.
All right, well,
that's why I hate Minecraft.
Yeah, but when I play this game, see, okay, the difference between this and Minecraft is there is objectives, but it's as basic as just blow up everything in sight.
Yes,
and do it.
And that's kind of, but that's the thing is that you're already doing that anyway. I don't need the game to tell me to do that.
Yeah, I guess. But the game actively rewards you for doing it, which makes me go, oh yeah, because then you unlock like new weapons and vehicles and stuff, and it's really satisfying. But compare that to Minecraft, where you're like, oh, I built a new cart. I can make this cart.
Don't get me wrong. I'd much rather play Just Cause than Minecraft, but I just
Minecraft is one of those things where I don't get it. I completely do not get it.
I mean, I get it. It's just not my thing.
But it's like I've tried to get into it and I've played it, and I'm like, once I've built a house and sit in it, I'm like, wow, this is fun. I guess
it's this generation's Lego.
Yeah, but I know what Lego is. I can appreciate Lego. And
why can't you appreciate Minecraft?
I have no idea. I think it's because it's a game, and games to me I assume games have to have objectives. But when you get
also. The thing is, though, is that with Lego, you're building it yourself, and it's something that has to play by the rules of real life. Whereas in Minecraft, it sucks that the only thing I can do is build. Because I'm thinking like, okay, if this is a video game, I can do it. In theory, I could do whatever I want, but the only thing I can do is build.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, but I mean that's me. Yeah. Kids love it. So also $2.5 billion.
A lot of money. A lot of chatter. Anyways, moving on. So
Hughes news.
Blizzard announced a new IP. First new IP, 17 years. It's called Overwatch.
Oh God.
So Randy, I'm sure you have an opinion on Overwatch.
I mean, it looks cool, but it's not what I want from Blizzard.
You wanted like a new.
I don't want a modified Team Fortress 2, that is exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's
there is nothing more to it than that.
If you haven't seen it, it looks a bit like Team Fortress 2 with a bit of what's that game? Monday Night Combat.
But which was already kind of a modified Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, it looks a bit. It has a bit of everything. It has a bit of Brink in it as well. It reminds me of Brink a bit too, a little bit.
I liked Brink.
I did too, but I only played it in someone else's house, so like I actually didn't buy it. But it looked good on paper, and it played fine, but it just I don't know. I just didn't have it. It had the potential.
I just don't need this from Blizzard of all people. Like, this is out there already. Like, what is Blizzard doing that isn't already being done elsewhere? Like, Team Fortress is out there, Monday Night Combat's out there. There's a million free-to-play shooters out there that have the same sort of thing. I mean, not that Blizzard is the most original company in the world, but when they come out with something, it's a big freaking deal, and it's like, okay, this might be the most original thing ever, but it is sure super amazingly polished, and it's just great. You know, they don't put something out that's bad. They just don't. Whether, you know, your opinions on it, anyone's opinions on it aside, it is not bad. It is always super polished and cared for, and I just don't know. This isn't what I want. Like,
I know that sounds. I know people are thinking, "Oh, that's really selfish." But like, the thing is, like, when you consider what Blizzard is and what Blizzard has done, it's a bit like Valve coming out with a new racing game. Do you know what I mean? You don't want that. You want what you like. It's not what you expected, and you're not discrediting the new game. You're just saying it's not exactly what I wanted. But
I don't care that they're doing a first-person team-based. I'm assuming free-to-play. Did they say?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
It's bad that I instantly say, like, oh, well, this is what they're going to be selling. Because there's a million characters.
Yeah.
You know that not all of them are going to be free.
Yeah. I don't know.
At least that's my mind.
Yeah.
That's what it is in my mind.
I hope it's good. I actually absolutely.
Yeah, I do too, and I may
it.
actually like it. But when I think of Blizzard, when I think of Blizzard's next new game, it's new IP. Okay, new IP even. Like, think about that. This is the first new IP that they have made since StarCraft.
Yeah.
Good God. And this is what we get. We get Team Fortress again. Like, when I think of, I don't know. It doesn't seem, I don't know what problem Blizzard is trying to solve. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the world is in need of this kind of game. It's out there already.
Yeah. But
I just don't, I don't get what they're bringing that isn't already being done. I don't want this. It makes me sad because I do think it looks cool, but at the same time, and then you got that, I don't remember the Gearbox one. What is that called? That's coming out. It looks a lot like that too.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the name of it. Which one do you mean?
It's like Battleborn or something like that. Battlestorm.
Oh my God! There's actually so many of those types of games coming out now. That I think.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. And there's like, but I'm so confused about why this is happening. Yeah. And it's Gearbox. Okay, I expect it to come out of Gearbox, but
for sure.
When I think of Blizzard, it's like they take so long to make games, and when their games come out, it's a big deal. And I want something that reflects that, and this isn't that. This is just I don't know.
To be
really
fair, it hasn't even come out yet. It's only been a trailer, and people have been playing it. But
I don't care.
The thing is, like, it's not what you wanted. For sure, but
right. I mean, like I said, it could be incredible, but
but that's the problem, I guess, with a company. It's like when they want to try to expand what they do, like, and people like they're like, where's the next Warcraft, where's the next Starcraft, whatever.
I don't need that though, but I definitely, if they want to do a team-based multiplayer shooter, do something that at least is changing the game up a little bit. I didn't see anything in that trailer, and they showed a good chunk of gameplay that seemed to indicate that it just seemed like there were more characters, and the characters had more abilities. That kind of seemed to be the only difference.
Yeah, I guess
these minor implementations just
for
isn't
what
enough.
You're saying is, like, for a new franchise in 17 years, you were hoping for a bit new, something. Whoa, this is completely new. I've never seen anything like this. Yeah, I get it.
Especially with the recent cancellation of Titan, which was supposed to be this humongous, it's been in development for God knows how long, and then they canceled Titan, and this is why they canceled Titan? Well, screw you. Come on. I know that's not why they canceled Titan. It's just, I don't know. I'm really disappointed. I don't need this. I don't want it. Take it back.
All right.
Just to get your money back for it.
Turn to sender, please.
Just so you have a receipt. Yeah. Just.
Okay, so, yeah. Let me see. Okay.
I would like Warcraft 4, though, by the way.
I'm sure.
Moving on.
The news is that Microsoft filed a trademark for Battletoads, which, take it as you will. I actually think that'd be pretty funny just to see Microsoft.
Phil Spencer also came out on Twitter saying that he just got done playing Rare's new game, and it's extremely rare, as in rare with a capital R.
Wink, wink.
Rare. Which was... Okay, be real with me. Is Rare really that good?
Probably. I don't know.
I liked Donkey Kong Country. I'm apparently one of the... Well, I don't know. I feel like younger people seem to like it and older people seem to hate it. I liked Banjo-Kazooie quite a bit. Don't give a crap about anything else they've done.
All right. I guess we should move on. You know, I've played Battletoads. And no, I don't have Battletoads. So stop ringing me and asking.
Battletoads sucks.
Yeah, I've heard people say, "Oh, Battletoads and suck a dick."
I mean, Battletoads and Double Dragons is okay because it's not as ball-bustingly hard, but it's unplayable. The first Battletoads, it's stupid.
People go like, I just remember it's basically the internet thing where it's like, "Do you have Battletoads?" And then everyone's just raving about Battletoads. And I will bet you cold hard cash when this comes out, people will be like, "This game is shit."
Yeah, no one's gonna give a crap.
Exactly.
Who actually cares about Battletoads?
Not me, anyways. Moving on. So, The Witcher 3 has actually announced that they're releasing 16 free DLCs for everyone who buys the game, which is crazy.
Now, when I hear that, I hear costumes, sword skins.
Let me have a look here. Okay, all right, hold on. So, yeah, there's an armor set, hairstyle set.
Yep.
However, you do get few. Hold on, let me read exactly what it says here. You get a few. You get there's one here that says a contract, so you get like an extra mission to find missing miners from a small village, investigate and find what happened.
Okay,
so,
that's better.
You know, it's not totally just vanity.
I would be okay with all of that, but they also said that there's going to be paid DLC as well, which worries me because free DLC is great, I guess. I mean, I don't necessarily need it, but free is free. But if that stuff is just to make it so people don't get so upset when the paid DLC comes out,
I really love CD Projekt Red because they came out with an open letter discussing the DLCs. I'm just going to read a bit of it here. So this is from Marcin Iwinski. I'm probably pronouncing this horribly wrong, but take it as it will. He's the CEO of CD Projekt Red. And he said, "We love games. We love collecting them, playing them, and everything connected to that experience. Every time we reach out for a new release, we expect to be taken care of. We expect support if we counter any problems. We love updates, constantly improving the experience. And we feel really special when we receive free content that gives us more than we initially paid for. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be an awesome skin for a character or an extra sword or armor. Unfortunately, this treatment is quite rare these days. As gamers, we nowadays have to hold on tight onto our wallets, as surprisingly, right after release, lots of tiny pieces of tempting content materialize with a steep price tag attached. Haven't we just paid a lot of new cash for a brand new game?" So he's basically saying,
he's basically throwing up the middle finger.
Exactly,
to all
and he just said, "We're doing it differently. Cutting the chase. Everyone who buys Wild Hunt will receive 16 specially prepared DLCs for free, regardless of platform," which is perfect.
And that's cool. And he's right, because I remember back, especially on the PC, games would come out and then free stuff would come out for that game all the time. It happened all the time, and then apparently someone along the way said, "Hey, we could charge money for this."
I've seen what else has done it? Shadow of Mordor. They've had a few DLCs come out for free where you get extra costumes and stuff. Which I know people are like, "Oh, it's just costumes. Who gives a shit?" But it's
better than nothing.
Idea.
It's free
of them giving away free stuff without having to charge you for it or charge you 99 cents for it.
And the photo mode or whatever that's free, like why not?
It's the right attitude, I think.
Yeah, I don't care about swords and armor sets and stuff. That's not the kind of content I care about. But I won't turn it down if they give it to me. I'm like, sure, but and also, how does this work? Does it just appear in your inventory, or what happens? They probably don't say yet.
It doesn't really say. It just says, "What do I have to do to receive it?" It just says the only thing you need to do is purchase the game. So, yeah.
I loved The Witcher 2. It is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited for Witcher 3.
Did you?
No,
did you play Witcher 2?
I didn't have it on PC.
Well,
I didn't
Nathan,
have an Xbox 360, so I skipped it. But fortunately enough, if you're like me and you didn't play it, apparently The Witcher 3 is very accessible for people who haven't played the previous two
Yeah,
games.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll do a kind of like this is previously on. Obviously not like that.
Yeah, they
but,
probably will, but
you know,
that's still
it's a bit like
especially with the weight
yeah.
that game has and its choices. Not being able to carry those over would really bum me out.
So moving on, we briefly talked about the Majora's Mask remake in 3D.
Yes.
So apparently it's been in development since 2011, and it's not going to be just another remake. Now,
Good.
I know someone with a 3DS, and I wouldn't mind having a go of it, because I've heard Majora's Mask is very creepy. The very creepy.
There are things about it that are great.
No
doubt about it.
I haven't. I still need to finish Ocarina. I've gotten pretty far in it now.
How far are
I
you?
remember now. Oh God. Let me think. No, I can't remember.
Are you an adult?
No, I'm not. I can. Oh! That makes so much more sense. Because
then you are not even remotely close.
Because for years, I thought like the big version of Link. I thought that was like, oh, it's obviously his brother or something like that. I never knew that was him growing up. Wow.
You have not even begun to fight. Yeah, like that's you got a ways.
Suki's on me right there. Oh.
I would say the when you're a child Link, that's probably a fourth, if that,
really?
of the game.
Yeah. Okay, so it should be fine. I'm sure.
But think about this. Ocarina of Time came out on 3DS. Was a straight port. Looked really nice. Majora's Mask was announced for 3DS. It's like, oh, we had to change it. Why? Because the game sucked. The game had problems. That game needed to be changed. It's not a coincidence that Ocarina of Time was left unchanged when it was ported, and Majora's Mask was changed. I'm sorry. Like there's a reason they did it. You know what I mean? Like it just kind of proves my point. At the same time, I don't want to play the old Majora's Mask anymore because I want to play this one. Will I know why I hated Majora's Mask originally if this fixes all the problems I had with it? You know what I mean?
I get you. You want to play the Hughes version. You want to play the one that's kind of fixed the problems. Because
yes, but at the same time, I also want to remember why I hated Majora's Mask.
I'm sure it's probably very much improved on the problems you've had. Maybe if the problems you have are like mechanics or something like that, where.
Well, I mean, the whole time mechanic was the problem, and that's what they're changing. All right.
So you might have an issue with it, but it'll be in 3D, so happy days.
Yeah, I barely ever play with the 3D on anymore.
And that's why they released the 2DS, which everyone was like, "What? 2DS? You're crazy!" And then everyone bought it because no one wants to pay extra for 3D that they're not going to use ever.
Yeah, at the same time, it's not. If it were a clamshell or whatever, then I'd probably get that.
Yeah, that's the thing about 2DS. It's just so bulky. Like you can't even put it anywhere because. But like I'm very much considering, as much as I really want a PS4 right now, I also equally just want to get a DS and 3DS rather, or 2DS, whatever, and play Ocarina and then get Majora's Mask, because it's just like it's one of those things where like I would really like, because it's been so long since I had a portable like I had a PSP, and like I never really got into it,
which sucked,
because it was crap. I only had one game for it that I really enjoyed, which is like GTA Vice City Stories.
I like Daxter.
I didn't play Daxter actually, which I feel bad about not playing it, because I did enjoy the Jack and Daxter series. But PSP came and went. It wasn't good.
It sold pretty well in Japan, really well in Japan, because of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Yeah,
but here it's just like.
And the PS Vita is still, it's not doing too hot either, because I haven't seen anything about the PS Vita in so long.
Yeah, because they don't care about the PS Vita.
Japan is like they're soaking up the 3DS and the 2DS, whatever, all Nintendo stuff, and the Vita is getting it's being left behind in the dust. So,
I mean, not to mention Japan just kind of cares about phones nowadays too. I mean, they'll get whatever Monster Hunter is on, and then the rest is just. We're gonna play on.
Have you ever played?
That's why the 3DS
have you ever played
is
Monster Hunter?
so well.
What sort of games?
A little bit.
I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Um.
I mean, it's hard because the U.S. doesn't give a crap about it, and the big thing about that is playing with other people that care about it. And, when there's no one in the U.S. that just yeah.
All right, so moving on. Second to last bit of news. Hughes news. And before we hold on, how are we talking? We've been talking for quite a while, so I'll blast through these bits of news right here. Okay, so Tony Hawk came out and said that he's working with Activision on a console game for 2015. And he says that he thinks fans of Tony Hawk Pro Skater series will be hyped. So obviously this means he's going to make.
Okay.
If I swear to God, if this is another Underground, I will shit the bed. That was awful. I hated Underground Pro.
But if this is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 or 5,
yes, go for it, because I think Pro Skater 4 was my favorites. That's
4 was my favorite too, but everyone seems to like 3 the best.
I see. I'm really. I can barely remember until I see it. So I think this might be the one. What can you remember? What's in 4?
I feel like
if
well, 4 was the first time that you didn't have like a looming time limit when you jump into a level. That was the first time, because in 3, well, the structure of Tony Hawk, right? You get thrown into a level and you have all these objectives to complete. Well, in Tony Hawk's 1 through 3, you have about 5 minutes before you fail and have to restart. In Tony Hawk 4, the objectives are laid out across the map and you initiate them as if it's like an open world game. Like you go up to a guy and says, "I want you to do this."
4 was the one.
And then you'll have a time limit to complete that objective. But if you fail it, then you just go back and restart it. You don't have to leave the level, and that's why I like Tony Hawk's 4 best.
Some of the levels from Tony Hawk 4, I remember them very vividly. Like I remember the first one. It was like the college level. I remember like you had to sketch a ride from like one of the college professors, and it was just so many cool little moments in it. Like you get to go to Alcatraz in it.
Yeah, and they went way overboard with Underground, which is why.
Yeah, I never played Underground, which is like I just didn't.
Didn't you not just say you hated it?
No, I hated Proving Ground. Yeah,
Proving Ground.
I played that. Wait, I don't know. I played. Hold on. Let me see. There's so many Tony Hawk games. There's a hell of a lot.
The thing that Tony Hawk sucks at is humor and edge, and that's kind of the direction they went with in Underground, and they suck at it, like I said. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't care. I just don't care about the humor in it. They're not good at it. The thing that I like about it is just playing it. It's fun.
Like, okay, so 2007 was when Proving Ground came out, which I wasn't.
No loading screens, bro.
And then that absolute travesty came out in 2009, Tony Hawk Ride with the board. Yeah,
boy.
I
tried that at like Best Buy.
Vividly remember going into my local games retailer. It wasn't GameStop, it was like a HMV, so I'm not sure what the equivalent is for you. And no, it sells like CDs and music and stuff as well, and DVDs and games. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways, whatever your equivalent is, I went to a Best Buy. It's a very small Best Buy. And I just remember seeing a mountain of Tony Hawk rides just stacked in the corner, going, "Oh boy, poor Tony Hawk." Crying in millions. Yeah, it was just terrible. Like, that's the thing where, like, the only real games that had success with that, kind of having to have a utensil or instrument to play the game with.
Rock Band, Guitar
Hero.
But that's because you're basically doing that. I mean, in terms of the drums and the singing, you're drumming and you're singing. And Guitar Hero is fun because guitar is hard, so it's like this is a dumbed down version of playing guitar, and it kind of feels like it. So that's fun. Whereas you're doing riding that ride board didn't feel like skateboarding at all. It just felt
But then
it wasn't good.
In place of Tony Hawk came the whole Skate series.
Skate? Yeah. I didn't like Skate.
I like Skate 2.
They tried to be real. I mean, that was the whole point, was that it was a simulation, and that's not what I want. So
I don't know. I see. The thing was, I think it was just because it was so long since I had a decent game, skateboarding game. Where it's like, oh, here you go. This is a fairly, I want to say, like you said, realistic, but it does it better than fucking Proving Ground or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember the games. Yeah,
Project 8.
American Wasteland. What was the other one? Oh yeah, Underground. Tony Hawk's Underground.
Oh yeah, holy crap! I forgot about American Wasteland. Was that the one that said that didn't have load screens?
Oh my
I don't
god,
remember.
yeah. Jesus Christ.
I remember there's a commercial of Tony Hawk skating and then like hitting an invisible wall, and it was like loading. Like what? No, screw this. And then he rips off the loading screen, and then it's like no load screens. Yeah.
The official name for this, by the way,
I don't remember what.
I'd just like to point out, is hold on. Wait, hold on. What's the one you said? It's called Tony Hawk's American Skateland?
American
Wasteland. Sorry. Okay, so there's a DS version of American Wasteland called Tony Hawk's American Skateland. Guess how Skateland is spelled.
SK8.
I see. Fucking hell.
LAND.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Just good
Oh,
god.
boy.
Throw back to the 90s when everything was spelled with letters. Yeah.
And X's.
Yeah, X's before everything. Alright, so moving on. Tony Hawk's game should be fine, I guess. I want to see 4.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, this is exciting, but Tony Hawk sucked for so long that
Plus,
it's hard to be excited.
Activision, so, you know, it's not going to be.
I mean, we just talked about how I really liked an Activision game in this very podcast.
But, I don't know. That's different. That's something big, you know, that the bit. Well, they've had it for a while, and this is kind of like, oh yeah, remember this? Let's bring it back.
I mean, they tried to bring Tony Hawk back with that HD collection that no one liked.
Like, yeah, so, you know, I'm sure you can see why I'm kind of like, maybe, I don't know.
No, I completely understand.
Anyways, all it needs is same gameplay we know and love, killer soundtrack, always with the good soundtracks. Tony Hawk knocks it out of the park with some brilliant songs, and just stupid missions, stupid fun missions, and good levels. That's all you need, and, you know, you've got a good Tony Hawk game.
It sounds so simple. Why don't we just do it?
You know what? Let's do it now.
I'll call it Tony Hawk.
That's the thing. I hate when gamers say like, "Oh, you should just do this and do that," but like I just did, obviously. But it's kind of hard to realize how much work goes into games.
It's a lot of work. It's not as simple as it.
It's not as simple as.
But the thing is, though, is that they've done it before, so it's not like you're basically just saying do it again.
Just make it nice.
You're not
just make it nicer looking. That's all. Make it.
I mean, at this point, it's been so long since a good Tony Hawk that I don't even care if they copy Tony Hawk 3 and 4 and just be like, here.
I wouldn't complain.
New levels.
Like, brilliant. It's been a while since I played a good Tony Hawk game.
I bet you there will be RPG elements and
I swear to God,
modes.
don't even joke about that shit. That is terrible.
I guarantee you.
Oh, God. Okay, so...
Well, they actually had that in one.
Did they?
Real quick before we move. Yes, in one of the Tony Hawks, there was like nail the trick mode or whatever, and it zoomed in
Press
on the board.
X to put hat backwards. Get to swish it around. Get extra 100 points for doing so.
Quick time events in the next one. There you go.
Yeah, every time you grind on a rail, you just have to press triangle, X, square. Like, oh, quick! Oh, God.
Oh, God, man.
Oh, no, that's the thing. See, so now that we said it, someone's probably like, my uncle works in Activision. I should tell him. I've got a great idea.
Yeah, the like 24 people that listen to this podcast, there's one of them out there just like, hey, you know what? I can make this happen. Tony Hawk listens. Just be like, all right.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I can't do it, Tony Hawk, so let's move on.
I remember, like, doing the trick where it's like, you have to, when you're doing a grind, you have to, like, hit the grind at, like, specific way, and the balance icon would just stay in the middle. And I remember just leaving it on overnight, and the thing, like, it was going around in a circle, so, like, when I came back, like, the game nearly broke, because I had, like, 10 million points.
There was one, I think it was Tony Hawk 1 or 2 for the PlayStation, where I went off a ramp, and I got stuck in midair. So I just kept spinning and spinning and spinning, and it broke.
Did you ever play Spyro? Spyro 3?
Yeah.
I remember that had a really weird and very cool little skateboarding section, which was...
Yeah, I remember that.
Just insane.
Metal Gear Solid 2 had skateboarding. The re-release did.
Did it? What? Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Look it up.
Wait, 2? Metal Gear Solid 2 or Metal Gear 2?
Yeah, 2. Metal Gear Solid 2.
I'm trying to think.
The re-release.
Anyways, do you know what?
I swear to you.
We'll move on. I'll look it up some other time. Yeah, because we've been talking a hell of a long time. I'm gonna fire through this because we have two biggish things to talk about. Okay, so Dragon Age Inquisition reviews came out, and what do you know? It's an absolute great game. Everyone's been giving it, what am I looking at here? 9s.
Thank God.
IGN gave it an 8.8.
8s and 9s.
Time Magazine, there you go, 4.5 out of 5.
Time.
All you Time readers.
That's the name in games that you trust. It's Time Magazine.
PC Gamer gave it an 87 out of 100. I gotta say, I'm more excited for it now than ever, because I was kind of afraid it was just going to be like you said. You said 2 was a bad game. It wasn't something to write home about, anyways.
I'm not going to lie and say I haven't called it a bad game, but it's not a bad game. It's just not great. Yeah. It's not what it needs to be, especially coming off of Dragon Age 1. It's such a disappointment.
But I don't know. It just seems like Inquisition has really, really done it. Like they've done something. They've moved on from Dragon Age 2, because a lot of times when a bad game releases in a series, that can
it's hard to come back from.
That can really put people down. Like, as much as you know, as much as you don't realize, developers do have feelings, and sometimes, what can be said can make them feel, there's a lot of pressure on us now. But I think, they've really done it. They've, taken, the criticisms from 2, and even 1 to some extent, and the strengths of 2 and 1, and then just made a very good game.
And also how excited everyone seems to be about this just proves the legacy of Dragon Age 1, just how good that was, that everyone's just so willing to just be like, you know what, screw Dragon Age 2, I'm back in, Because Dragon Age 2 left a lot of people with a bad taste in their mouth, and they can just, if they're willing to just be like, screw it then, we're back. That speaks volumes.
I try not to see the problem is personally I'm not really dipping too much into talking about it because I don't want to spoil it for myself, which I'm sure, Randy, you agree with, but chances are by the time this next week's podcast rolls around, I will have some early first impressions on this game. Yay. Okay, so when is it out, actually? Okay.
Tuesday.
Which, you'll probably have a day on it, I imagine.
Yeah, I will probably just pull an all-nighter and just be like, blah.
So, one of the bad things I've seen on it, a criticism, is that the combat it's not as complex as you think, which...
So, I don't care.
I was just going to mention that, I don't play Dragon Age games for the combat anymore, so...
I know a lot of people do, but I don't either. And there's a difficulty option. If you want it to be hard, crank up the difficulty. As simple as that. I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know, but my guess is that the game... It doesn't look like... I've seen some videos. It doesn't look like it has the depth of the first Dragon Age. But the second one didn't either. So I guess... I don't know. But... Yeah, but... is that what really people care about, though?
It is what's the word? It is a feature of it. There is combat in it, so... You gotta take it.
It's not like you're not going to be fighting. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine. I haven't played it, but... I'm also not too worried about it because I really don't care. As long as the combat's not abysmal, I don't care. It's like BioShock Infinite. The combat was not great, but I didn't care.
Okay, so the reason I play Dragon Age, the reason I'm interested in it is because it's very mainly Dragon Age Origins, because I didn't play 2, as you know. But what I really like about it is that it's really kind of you're very much a blank slate, and the way you act in the world kind of changes what people say to you and what people think of you, which, I like when a game just gives you a bog standard character, but then you can customize them and change who they are through what you say. And that is Dragon Age. That is exactly how Dragon Age works. And same. That's why I love it, because it's just, you have to make really tough choices, which I'm pretty sure is in Dragon Age Inquisition. And the consequences of those choices can echo out through the whole game, which I think the problem I would have with some kind of RPG games is where if you make a decision that's it. It's like, oh, it just affects them. But this, like, they're kind of building it up where, like, this can affect the whole game. Like, it can change the course of the game completely. So I just want to ask real quick.
Has one of the
you played what was it, Dragon Age Keep?
Well, played is a bit
so
of a stretch.
It's basically just like what was it?
I mean, it's open to everybody now. You can go on and do it if you want. It's basically a little video that recaps a story, and whenever a big story a big event can alter, it gives you a little option to change it if you want. And then once it's over, you can go in and change all the little choices too.
So Dragon Age. It looks like it's going to be a really good game. A huge game, by the way. I see reviewers here putting in like.
How big is it? Oh yeah, like lengthwise.
I'm not too sure how long it took them to complete. If I'm being honest.
I was seeing 50 hours.
This guy here, Fred, a reviewer from Polygon. He says he put in 80 hours to it, and he still wants to play more. So that's you know.
It's got multiplayer too. If you're
that's another point I want to touch on because like I never played Mass Effect 3 because I just kind of I wanted to leave it at 2 and then the whole I actually can't
good. I don't care.
Explain why. It's one of those things where it's like, do you know when you I've heard someone
the ending is disappointing.
I've heard someone explain where
come on,
it's like,
I don't know.
when you love something so much you don't want to watch the last of it because then it's over for you. It's kind of like that, I guess. But also the whole negative.
I'm a little bit
the endings suck.
I haven't finished Shadow of Mordor.
There you go. You know
I don't want it to end.
But
that's all I have left to do is finish that game.
Have you finished Evil Within
yet?
I'm
playing it.
Oh
no.
Is that a case of it's really long, or you just?
No, it's just a case that I haven't wanted to play it. So I mean, I kind of have to play it at some point.
So I was just saying, Mass Effect 3 had multiplayer. I actually never played it, but I've heard, people saying it's surprisingly good. Where it's
a lot of fun. I hate the microtransaction stuff in it.
Oh, gross! Does that it?
The thing that I don't like about it, whatever, it has microtransactions. It's just the world we live in today. The thing that I don't like about it is that you don't know what you're buying. It's a box that has random items in it, so you're doing a dice roll when you pay for it. You're paying money. It's a slot machine, because you could pull it and get nothing, or you could pull it and get something really good. Yeah. So that sucks. Yeah, that really sucks.
That's unfortunately.
If it were a store and you'd be like, I want this specific gun, that's one thing. But it's this random dice roll of what you're gonna get. Like that. Why would you pay money for that? Especially it's a digital item. It's not even like a fun thing.
Like that's the EA side of the game showing up there, which
Dead Space 3 had that too.
That's really unfortunate because EA, they love money. They really love money, and any chance they get,
everybody does.
But I guess when it's an entertainment kind of thing, where it's like they're just trying to get as much money out of you as possible, and unfortunately,
there are better ways to do it.
That is exactly what I was trying to say.
That's just gross. It's
gross.
That is
just horrible. And it's setting a standard.
That's just mean.
Like people are like, if they can do it,
it's just mean at that point. You're not even hiding the fact that you're just being gross about it.
It's like, hey, we want money. What are you going to do about it?
There might as well just be like a donate to the conglomerate that is EA.
Because
who cares?
Every package of the game comes with a small money sack that you can mail off to EA. It's like a little dollar sign on it. Please support us. We need your help.
Just throw cash in here. And you know what? You unwanted
cash. EA becomes cash for gold, basically.
Except we don't give you cash.
We'll give you cash, wink. You get like $2 in your EA account.
It's just called 4 gold.
So okay, the last bit of news. Well, not really news.
This is like the third last bit.
This is kind of okay. Actually, I'd say the Dragon Age was the last bit. We're going to move on to the. Do you want to do the reviews now? The totals. Sure.
We can. It's kind of sucks that we're the only ones here, but whatever. I'll just recap what happened.
Fire away.
Last week we predicted Assassin's Creed Unity's score. We did not. Okay, well, I'll just I'll just say our predictions
Sure.
real
I'm going
quick.
to fire
Let's
up
see if I
Metacritic
find it.
in case you haven't already. Just to double check. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I cannot find it.
I have mine. Alright.
Alright, I found it. Okay, so Adam predicted an 87 Metacritic score for Assassin's Creed Unity. Nathan, you picked 83. I picked 85, right down the middle. Our reasoning was that, we all thought it was going to be this new thing. Co-op was going to add a lot. We just didn't know how much co-op was going to affect people's scores. And I think my reasoning was that they're probably going to be bored of it, but the co-op is going to blindside people enough to rank it higher than it actually is. Nathan, would you please read off the Metascore for Assassin's Creed Unity, the Xbox One version, because that has the most
Sure.
reviews.
So I'm clicking to. I was looking at the PS4. So yeah, the Metascore for it right now, Assassin's Creed Unity, Xbox One, is 76. Which,
spleen.
Ooh, yikes. And then the user score, which, these are always ridiculous, but here it is if you want it, it's 3.5, which is, what? That is crazy.
It's because it's kind of broken. Like, I don't think any
a
of us
little
anticipated
bit, yeah.
this, right?
I've seen pictures, you said as well, you've seen pictures, I've seen stuff like, people's faces just go missing, they're literally just eyeballs and teeth
too.
floating. Somehow main character gets under the map and can just see everyone on top.
Yeah, that's it's a
the
mess.
gate. Yeah,
I don't think any of us anticipated just how broken it is. Or, I mean, we didn't expect it to launch like this anyway.
I'm just I googled and I'm on Yahoo right now because I have another little bit of tidbit of news to say related to this. So this NeoGAF user found this excellent quote from a Ubisoft executive in 2013, so just under a year ago. And basically he said, if we think we've ended up with a 70% Assassin's Creed game, we're not going to ship it. This Laurent Detoc told IGN. That damages the brand. And, well, what do you know?
Well, they didn't get a 70%.
Got 76, so screw you guys.
There
But,
you go.
It's kind of... It isn't exactly what they wanted. They wanted a game that would be a 90 across the board. Or, like, they wanted something amazing. And I gotta say, like, from the launch, it just seems like there's a lot gone wrong with this game, for sure. And a lot of other people think this too, because here's the news. The stock is after dropping by 9% for Ubisoft after this game launch. And it's quoted here, an abysmal game launch.
That's a chunk.
Yeah, that is a lot.
You think about 9%, I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when your company's worth probably hundreds of millions of dollars, 9% is quite a bit. So, yeah. I mean, I said this to you. The problem is that I kind of want Assassin's Creed to come out. I want the equivalent of Call of Duty Ghosts to come out for Assassin's Creed. I want people to take a step back and be like, maybe we should reevaluate this. Because I'm so bored of Assassin's Creed. And I want someone to just kick it in the teeth and give it a new spin. And this just doesn't seem to be what I want from it. But the thing is, though, is that Ubisoft, I'm sure, is going to look at it and be like, well, the only thing we need to fix is the glitches. So it'll be fine. Next year, we'll just make sure it doesn't have any glitches. That's what I'm worried about. Yeah. But, I mean, this doesn't affect me because I wasn't.
Yeah, see, the thing was, I was interested to a degree, but when I say interested, I mean looking at it from very far away and kind of just going, oh, I wonder how that's going to turn out. That's was as far as my interest went, because like you said, I'm really kind of bored with Assassin's Creed, and like I don't know, it's just it doesn't really do anything for me nowadays. Like I think when I linked the trailer a while back, Assassin's Creed Unity is meant to have this kind of weird thing where it somehow has like Paris in like more modern times, so they have like a wartime Paris. And I remember linking that in the chat, and then I think you said, "Oh, that's really cool," and
Yep.
I thought that was cool as well. I was like, "Oh, that's actually really," because now they're really playing with the idea of, you know,
Which is
the
what they
animus.
should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. They're just playing it too safe.
They can only go back in history so many
Like,
times.
You know, I don't know. It's just it's boring. If I'm being honest, it is absolutely cookie cutter because people can guess almost what's the next Assassin's Creed is going to be. Like I'm not joking. If I was like,
Yeah.
okay, what's the next Assassin's Creed going to be? Well, what was the biggest event?
Well, yeah. What's the next big historical period that they could set a game in?
They're like, oh, they haven't done Egypt. They haven't done Egypt or anything like that. Or like, you know,
feudal Japan.
I don't even know if they're still going to do it with that. They should do it because come on, the groundwork is there. You know.
Yeah, I feel like
it's all there.
Yes,
it's got to.
You're right.
Slap a. I was gonna say slap a rice patty on.
I mean, I don't ever want games to be bad, but at the same time, I really do think this needed to happen. I think. Well, then again, who knows? Because like I said, it could just be blinded by the glitches. At least when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, it ran fine, so everyone was like, "Oh, this game's just boring. We need to do something new." Yeah.
As much as we say, "Oh, this is we hope this is the kind of wake up call." I bet Ubisoft do not give two shits because they already make.
It's probably still
they made their money.
Too.
People have dropped fucking $60-$70 on these games, even though they're fucking buggy as hell. They don't care. It's like, oh, it's Assassin's Creed, man. It's Brotherhood, man. It's a way of life, dude. Come on. You gotta.
Assassin's Creed was cool and new for 2 to 3 years, and then after a while, it's just like, okay. I mean, if you think about it. They've been doing this as long as Call of Duty has. No, they've been doing annual releases.
Said this before. We was like
the same year as Modern Warfare 1 came out was the same year that Assassin's Creed 1 came out, and it's just been nonstop for both of them. And at least Call of Duty can say that they had new developers trade off, whereas Assassin's Creed, I don't think they can. They're just every year pumping them out, the same developers, right? It's Ubisoft Montreal every year, right? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. I'm just so freaking bored. And the controls aren't even perfect where they need to be. I remember we've had this conversation before. Assassin's Creed 1 was such a great first step, you know? It was the groundwork was there for something really special, and they just haven't capitalized on it. The potential there for this franchise still to this day is really exciting. What they're doing with it is just so safe and boring. I just can't stand it.
A lot of people are saying, like, oh, Ubisoft are the new EA. But it's kind of weird because Ubisoft are in a really weird place right now. Because, Ubisoft released, South Park, the new South Park game. Which is fantastic. Then they come out with this kind of, like, you know, it's not as good. Like, it's weird because...
Keep in mind, Ubisoft had... almost nothing to do with the South Park game. THQ was publishing it, and then
Child of Light, Valiant Hearts. Those are, people really like those games. But then,
I don't care about those games.
But I would argue that those are kind of small games in comparison to. But what I'm saying is just think about Watch Dogs.
I mean, they're experimental. It's something new. I appreciate it.
Just think back to Watch Dogs. That was a colossal fuck up, absolute major fuck up with the whole PC parody kind of thing.
I mean, that's kind of Ubisoft's game is to release crappy PC ports.
But
apparently this Assassin's Creed is no exception. Like,
and also they have Uplay, which everyone really hates because.
Oh man, and that's something we didn't talk about in news, but you saw they took down their games from Steam for a while,
that was
right?
Very odd.
That was scary.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm a firm believer that Steam needs competition, and Steam's not the end-all be-all. And I'm a supporter of Steam, and that's the one I use, and that's where I want all my games to be. But at the same time, why is it okay for Steam to have exclusive games and not okay for other platforms to have it? You know, it's like stop being okay with Steam doing the exact same thing that the other companies are doing.
I've seen a few other competitors,
that you hate.
Not on the scale of Steam whatsoever.
I mean, guess what? Dragon Age is coming to Origin and not to Steam. Guess what I'm doing? I'm buying it. I'm going to play it on Origin.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. It sucks. It's annoying, but I can load up Origin. I will survive.
Another gross thing I just saw here is that like, Unity also has microtransactions in it, which is gross.
Oh my god! Just put the icing on the cake. Why don't you?
I just
like the diarrhea icing on the giant cake. That
I don't know. It bothers me. It's just because I was kind of interested in Unity to some degree. I remember watching a video where it's like you kind of plan your assassinations, a bit like Hitman, which I was like, oh.
I cared so little until that World War II
yeah,
thing came out.
and then you kind of got mad.
Like, oh.
Well, not mad, but you were like, oh, I don't want to care about this.
Yeah, I was annoyed. So like, I don't want to care about this.
Yeah.
But now I don't have to care about it. Actually, I might read up on it and see what it is.
I might rent it. That's the kind of thing I'm at now, where it's like if a game is a bit iffy, I just
rent it on what?
Rent Unity. Give it a go.
On what?
I get a PS4 eventually.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Eventually, underline that.
Oh yeah, Bloodborne was pushed back
months,
too, as of today. That was another thing. So that's a month later that I have to get a PS4.
Yeah, so Ubisoft they've lost a bit of footing amongst the gamers. They weren't completely like foolproof before. They've been doing Uplay and then the whole Watch Dogs bonanza. Now this, they're a lot of people aren't like. They realize, companies aren't actually infallible,
I mean, everybody's got off years, They'll bounce back.
And I hope they do. But
it's not like Ubisoft's broke. Like, that's not...
Well...
Even that's not the discussion.
They're doing a lot of wrong things that EA have done, and EA has fixed,
but they're... Yeah, you're right. They're doing a lot of wrong things, but every company does. Activision was doing rough there for a little while. Remember, like, before Call of Duty was the guaranteed success that it was, Activision wasn't what it was, and now, and now Ubisoft is they still have Far Cry, so there's still a chance for this year, but maybe they could just be like, this wasn't our best year. We'll turn it around. Take a year off with Assassin's Creed.
Come on. You can't take a year off with something like that. But what if Call of Duty took a year off? That's it would be for us, but for them, they'd be like, "Hey, where's Call of Duty this year?"
But
because
why?
It's just
no for who?
For I don't know. The companies are like they do put all their eggs in one basket.
Right, the companies. That's what you're saying. But just imagine how excited everyone would be if.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying it
come
won't
back
happen
around
because it is a cash cow, and they got to keep milking it, and they can't just take a year off.
Yeah, but they're milking it. There's diminishing returns. Obviously, you've seen it in the sales of Call of Duty. You're seeing it now with Assassin's Creed. There are diminishing returns. It's not a year-over-year gain like it was. It's they're dropping. Let people breathe. Let people, remember that they were excited about this stuff, and then bring it back. Because as it is right now, they start talking about the next Call of Duty and the next Assassin's Creed before people are done with the previous Call of Duty and the previous Assassin's Creed. So how are people getting excited for it when they're just like, I'm still playing I haven't even finished this one. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's just
Stop it.
It's just weird with Ubisoft because like a lot of mistakes they're making have been made before by EA, and EA have like they were voted worst company in the world at one stage because of all the crap that which is crazy, in the grand scheme of things. Like, this game charges me compared to
there was just a bunch of fanboys that are
compared to like a company that like actually steals water from villages, which is horrendous. I think it was like Nesquik or something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh yeah, Nestle because Nestle thinks water shouldn't be public property anymore, and that they should own it.
God, what a bunch of shitheads!
That is
when you compare that to they charge me $6 for it.
I feel bad every time I have to buy their water because I actually switched to because I buy bottled water, and I switched from Nestle to Coke, which is Dasani, and because the main reason is because their bottles are better, but and also morally, I'm like, I can support these guys because they're not trying to own water. You can't own water. It's freaking water. It literally falls from the sky. It's not, when people say like, money doesn't grow on trees. Money doesn't just fall from the water. Literally falls from the sky. You can't just say it's mine now. But yeah, so sometimes when my store doesn't have Dasani, I have to get Nestle, and I feel bad about it.
Because, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, Nestle is infinitely more evil, horrible than EA.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that people are like, oh, EA made me pay $5 for this stupid helmet for this game.
No, they didn't make you pay $5 for that helmet. That's the thing, is that people blame EA for all this stuff. Who's the problem here? Not EA. If EA is just smart. EA is like, okay, if these idiots are going to pay money for this stupid stuff, we'll give them the avenue for it.
Yeah, I guess it's frustrating.
I agree, it's gross. It sucks for the people that aren't willing. That's the thing. You don't hear about the people that buy this. We're angry because we're not going to buy that stuff, right? We're angry because that's just clouding our game. But there are people out there that are fine with it. So those people aren't angry.
It's always a case of, I always want to see who is buying this stuff and why.
I mean, somebody is.
I could be the biggest fan of something, but even still, I would like I just said before, I really love Fallout, but even I waited until it was dirt cheap to get the DLC because.
I mean, I don't buy DLC for the most part unless it's on sale, because there's something about it, DLC rubs me the wrong way. DLC never used to exist. The game used to be done when it came out. That's kind of my philosophy.
The way it is now, I guess. But
I mean, when you think about stuff like maybe Burial at Sea is a bad example, but I'll just use it. You think about that stuff. That used to be unlockable stuff that you'd get after the game after you beat it. I'll beat this game on super hard mode, then you get this extra chapter. Like Resident Evil 4 had that stuff. And it just doesn't happen anymore.
You have to pay for it. Oh, a new costume. Yeah, 99 cents, please.
I remember the days of the philosophy of let's put as much in this game as we possibly can to give as much value to the consumers. That's just not.
Yeah, it's not the status quo anymore. But to be fair, like I said earlier on with CD Projekt Red, there are a few companies out there who still are really old school in their belief of let's give as much as we can to gamers.
Yeah, and that's good, but those are the exception. You don't. I mean, how many? The reason people love CD Projekt Red so much is because they're the only ones that are doing it. if everybody was doing it, then they'd be like, oh, it's just another
great
company.
PR, anyways.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, somehow we always seem to drag on super long.
Yeah, we're a chatty bunch. We like to chat.
I mean, it's because the reason being is because we always pick up news when it's just the two of us, and there's always crap.
Yeah, for sure.
When it's more than just us, we never talk about news, and we're able to.
That is true. When we talk about as opposed to when we talk about what we played, it's always just oh, I played this. Anyways, news. I just feel news is more.
I mean, we talked about.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I feel the news, talking about news, is more dynamic as opposed to what have I been playing, because it's oh well, you've.
I mean, it would be different if we each had something new to talk about every time.
Games cost money.
But we don't. We're on a limited budget. We're not a game company. We don't.
However, if you do want to send me free games,
if you want to sponsor us, I'm not hard to reach.
Amazon, Google, you guys listening?
I will easily sell out. I'm not afraid. You can do whatever you want to this thing. You can identify it.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll finally solve a quest to identify this podcast.
Eventually. Yep, we'll get there. Well, Nathan, it's always been a pleasure. And thank you for coming on with me.
Yeah.
Trucking through. Maybe we'll get Adam back here next week. Jury is out on L. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. So until then, this is Randy. And we'll see you next week. Bye, Randy. I love you. Screw Nathan. He sucks.
I hate that one, fam. Dick.
It's a different. This one, that was a sister.
What a poor, horrible family if they both sound the same. Must get very confusing.
Well, I mean, it's really hard when they call each other, or when their parents call and they're like, let me talk to your sister. Like, this is a sister.
Oh, brilliant.